Where we left off, I'm sure you guys, it hasn't been that long, obviously, so you probably haven't forgotten, but you are in the Undercroft tunnels beneath the Mephuan Temple at Calderfell. You're resting outside the floor pit that leads to the Thinny below, where that amalgamation of spirits known as Legion is trying to escape. Norak had a very brief conversation, Norak and Nazim, with the spirits that are kind of guarding the way down there. Other than that, you do know, it is only at this point about 6 a.m. and you won't be able to get the effects of a long rest until probably around 8 p.m. or so, meaning that you still have quite a while of time to kill, essentially, before you can actually get a long rest, assuming that you guys are intending to do so. So let me go ahead and move us over to that map.
I know I just murdered a weird little hand thing, and
you shot at it, and it
ran away. That's right.
Yeah, it scurried around the corner. Sarah did see where it went, but beyond that, it is no longer visible. And then the two of you returned back to the tree. Arteme is kind of stuck inside the tree, so it'll be a whole day of her not being able to really leave the dome unless you do take it down and resummon it again later, Fox. But otherwise, all of you are kind of in the same general area in the caves, the tunnel area in the Undercroft. So what are you doing?
I'm just going to read for a while, see if I could glean anything from the medical book.
Okay. Looking for any specific data, or just reading to learn?
Just reading to, up my knowledge.
Okay.
Alright, so we got two things from that pile of stuff. Alright, so there's an amulet of planar expulsion. It requires attunement. Attacks made against creatures not native to the plane you are currently on take an additional 2d8 damage from your attacks, and you are able to cast Banishment once per day with a DC of 16.
Ooh.
I put both of those in your inventory too. They're not edited as far as effects, but I changed the verbiage a little bit, so you may want to make sure that you understand the verbiage of those.
Can you click on it so it shows up in the chatty chat?
There. So there's that one.
Nice description. Feels vaguely magnetic.
Vaguely. That's good, because sometimes I pick something up and I'm like, this feels way too magnetic.
Just vaguely.
All right, there are... Okay, you guys probably don't, hang out with a lot of magnets. Not like anybody really does, but I mean, there
are levels of magnetic.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Yeah. Some of them are stronger. Some of them, like a speaker magnet, is a lot more magnetic than, say, a common magnet for your fridge.
Yeah.
And that's the second one.
So you're saying you're attracted to magnets?
Not necessarily. I just thought taking a speaker apart would be fun.
He was making a dumb joke about magnetic attraction.
I see.
You could summon a Metaman if you want to, perhaps.
I don't think there's any water nearby.
Well, I mean, not here, but... Do we have... I mean, the place we're going might be underwater as best we can figure, so... By the way, the air here in the caves is making me nostrils all a bit weird. Don't know if you can hear that. A little strange. So who wants this ring? I mean, we did steal it fair and square from that little Skirian thing's home.
True. The amulet of expel, I think, should go to Nazim, because he hits a lot of shit with what the hell is it?
Eldritch Blast.
That's it. And I mean, that's 3 hits, so it's an extra 2d8 per hit.
It's once per turn.
Is it? I
Yeah,
thought
the 2d8 force damage is once per turn.
Yeah, once per turn.
That's one of the things I was talking about, that the verbiage you want to check on.
Okay.
And that's like when you harm it with anything. But I mean, because there's a lot of times where I'm not even really hurting something. I might confuse it or make it dance or laugh or smile.
Yeah.
Or so I'm not always hurting it. Who usually hurts? Who hurts? Who's a hurter?
Nazim and Norak do most of the damage.
Hey Nazim, do you have how much magical crap do you have? Do you have something that you could? Because I've got my boots here, and I've got my these bracers, and I've got my little lithic here, life stealing.
Yep, I do have quite a bit of equipment though. I have to attune to it, but I could only attune to 2 things. Is that correct?
Three.
You can get 3.
3. 'Cause I'm
Which, by the
currently-
way, Sarah, I did what you had
Yeah.
asked. So if you want
Yeah.
to change that, just let me know. I mean, you guys will have time today, but it does take an hour to do.
Yeah, if Nazim wants it, I will do that.
Well, I'm already attuned to my glove, my cloak, and the staff of retribution. And the glove and the staff of retribution has kind of saved our butts quite a bit.
No, definitely. Agree with that there.
Yeah.
The cloak also, there's a
The AC
reaction.
increases by 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, up to 16 potentially. So that one, especially because your AC is really low, is a big deal too. That does require attunement as well to be able to get that. So
Right.
up
And
to you. You also have the Ring of Healing Surges that used to save your guys' butts all the time. You guys have a lot of extra magic items that you don't need to have attuned.
Yeah,
basically.
I mean, so right now what I was thinking about using is using this little rock, in case we need to add some hit points to someone. I can cast an attack spell. And then I've got my knitting needles, the ones we got from those little witches. And I can make like a little one of those little man out of it and send them to do things. Or I could make the big plant that pulls people out from the ground and stuff like that. And then I've got my bracers. But, I mean, I don't really need the knitting needles, I don't think, right now. I could hold on to them for later, but I wouldn't mind having it. That amulet.
Go for it.
Pew, pew, pew!
So banishment is a concentration spell, but do you need to concentrate on it if it's an item? And not
So-
casting?
So that's also important in the verbiage there. It depends on the item, essentially. And in this case, you are the one casting it. It essentially gives you the ability to cast a different spell, not banishment. And it is something that the person would be concentrating on, not the item.
Okay.
The verbiage specifically will tell you, if it's something that
Well, I have-
basically if it doesn't.
Sure,
that?
and I still have other things I can do besides, I have other spells that aren't concentration I can still use while I have that.
Yeah, lots of minor concentration, so it's all yours if you want it.
Is everyone okay with that? Since we're gonna have a rest anyways, I might as well
Yeah. Just
Well,
hold on to
re-equip
it.
anything you
What
might
is-
think is better.
What does Norak have for attune stuff?
Yeah,
You
Norak.
do a shit ton of damage.
I feel like it
Yeah.
both doesn't he have 2 weapons and they're both
Yeah,
tuned?
Sword of Stolen Hours does require attunement, Reggie. Where does it
Yeah.
say? I'm looking at the item thing. I just don't see where
Up
it
at
says
the
it
top.
requires.
Yeah, it'd be
Right
on there.
there.
Oh, there it is. Okay, yeah, so the sword does. So that's one thing I know I have.
Vulcan does as well.
Okay.
You seriously only have 2 things attuned? How do you not have 3?
No, I guess I only do have. I thought I had 3, but my Sentinel Buckler and the Ring of Evasion are apparently not attunement. Or attuned.
Well, if you do more damage, the amulet would be useful.
You know what? Maybe I should double check and make sure I require attunement on these.
Yeah, 'cause you're
maybe I'm wrong, too.
Welcome to have it if they want. I mean, if not, I'll take it because I only have
No,
things
while
to do,
attuned.
Well, you do the
That
most
would
damage,
change.
so it would be beneficial for you to have it, honestly.
but- Okay.
I'm gonna real quick. So just I'm only gonna do this because narratively I can explain this away by you guys having seen the fight with Legion via the Vast Erudition. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? Why that matters? So because you guys got essentially the download of the Collegium Statera, the team in balance, which were Ben, Becky, and Sako's characters. Because of that, because you have seen essentially how the Legion fights and what this fight could look like, I guess is how I'm saying this, then you would have a little bit of more kind of narrative background information. I want to specifically point this out, though, that it's very important because if you guys aren't paying attention or if people aren't paying attention, this could very, very quickly lead to 1 or 2 or a full TPK, 1 or 2 of you get dying or a full TPK. It does have a couple of things that hit extremely hard, and if you take too much damage from it, it's instant death. So, I mean, all the rolls are in
Well,
the open.
also-
You can see all of this, but what's that?
Sure. No, I mean, I was just thinking, if we could always. How long is it gonna take to drop these bones off in there? I don't know, how long do they gotta be in the room?
Can
if
you
we're doing
just
this?
run in and then throw them and then
Just
run
toss
out?
them like a sack.
Yep.
You like hammer throw a bag of bones.
Well,
just
so
toss it
so
in.
let me. I'm going to explain just a little bit here so that you guys have a little bit of information. It's not much. I don't want to spoil nothing, obviously. And then you guys can do all the planning you want and decide, who wants magic items or whatever. But basically, I just want to point out that it's not a simple like a tank and spank kind of a fight. It can't be killed in the way that you're used to, meaning you can't just hit it until it dies. That won't work. I'm going to try to telegraph what's happening essentially during the fight, but suffice it to say that you'll need to actually pay attention to figure out how to properly damage it, or this will go south very fast. Also, there are some environmental effects things that I'm going to have you guys roll for, so you'll see the table and you'll just roll a die to determine what kind of attacks are used against you and what kind of environmental effects are occurring. But essentially, some of it you'll have I'm not control over, but certainly direct visibility to. It'll still be random, and at least to a certain extent, and we'll go from there. But anyways, the fight is not as simple as, just kill it. And you don't even necessarily need to. It's up to you guys on how you want to. I'm just saying that if you do try to, destroy it, that it isn't as simple as just beat it until it dies.
Yeah, but the thing has banishment on it, so we could always banish it and then get the plug out, because
that's what I was thinking.
If Narok had it, it would give him the ability to cast it, right? That's what I'm understanding. Even though he's
so
not
we got to
dead.
remember,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to be whispering this information.
Who whispering to prevent the spirits from overhearing is what you're trying to do?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want the spirits to hear it.
Okay.
So if we're in the bubble, just still kind of doing it quietly.
Yeah.
But I mean, so the problem is if we do this, all these other spirits are going to lose their fucking minds and go a little ghost and try to attack us for some reason. Doesn't quite make enough sense to me, but they're going to attack us. So even if we banish it, we're going to have, 1,000 ghosts trying to attack us afterwards?
Yeah, but they're not going to come... The way that he made it seem was that they wouldn't be coming down after us. They would just prevent us from coming back.
Yeah, so do we do that and then try to make one of our circles? Do we do that and try to make a circle when we're in there?
Yeah, so hopefully if they don't come out after us, we don't have to deal with them.
So
but we may have to deal with getting through them to get down.
Out of curiosity, do we have any way... Does anyone have any way of maybe making the amulet here that, if we're planning on banishing it for, a minute, which is, not a bad amount of time, but, do we have any way of maybe making sure that works? Does anyone have any fancy pants ways of ensuring that the spell will work better?
I can have Sham behind it and give it disadvantage on its save, but that's the best I've got.
I mean, that's good. Disadvantage on a save.
And I can make it re-roll, as long as I get a rest.
So I think that's our plan, right? I can use this ring, or this slightly magnetic amulet to cast banishment.
Shan will not give anyone else disadvantage. Shan only gives disadvantage for spells that I cast.
Oh, alright.
So.
Well, maybe we should give you the amulet then.
I don't mind. I will take off my Pearl of Power, which is
I
was thinking, but then I was thinking everybody else does more damage than I do.
Well,
that's true.
You are capable of doing a lot of damage.
But remember, we can't just...
Banishment is the most important thing, because we probably wouldn't win if we tried to actually take it all the way to defeat.
Well, based off what I know of the Spanish extradition that happened, we're probably not going to be able to defeat it normally. We're going to have to find some other thing to do, just keep it here or push it back in whatever weird hole it came from. Because it came from a hole, right? This kid or someone opened up a portal and it came through. Maybe we could just get it back through.
Okay, but the issue is it already went back through, but it went back through in the wrong spot and then just started eating everything up. So basically it was pulled from one afterlife, and then when it was sent back into a different part of the afterlife, is my understanding of it.
Yep.
Yeah, it's trying to get back through.
Yeah, and it came through a different, a permanent thing, a natural one, not an artificial one like Oliver.
So you can't close this one. This one's just
correct.
Here now.
This one's natural. So
it's just been there, for it's essentially
sense.
growing. You guys don't really, know the specifics of it, but everybody does know that the thinnies that are here are slowly growing.
So what does that Pearl of Power do that you have?
It gives you up to a 3rd level spell back. Here, let me look at it.
That's not bad, but I definitely think this is going to be more helpful.
Yeah, there's Pearl Power.
All right. So you basically, yeah, no. Why don't you just go ahead and why don't you use this? We can when you bring your puppy dog back into the world. Do you have to have a target for it, or can it go in that room with us?
She has to have a target.
So you have to wait until you see the target to bring her into like this plane, or can you just?
Yes.
All right. Well, that's
well,
fucking terrible. You can't just like have it be like, all right, next time you see a big fucking ugly thing, it's through this door
No,
or down this hole.
She has to
You
have a
would
target,
attack.
but I'm not sure if I need to see it or just know that it's there. So hang on, let me see.
Probably have. Maybe I could have one of those ghosties make us a drawing. You
Creature
could show it to
can-
Shan. You could just be like, see this? You see that? You go attack it. You bite it in this asshole.
So yeah, so she has to have a target that I can see.
Shan can't like be pulled to another like dimension and gone forever, right? Like this is something that you're pulling from a dimension, so I feel like Shan's pretty safe.
She would be fine. I mean, if she dies, she goes back to the shadow plane, so it's fine.
All right.
I don't think. Would I know? Would she be absorbed?
No, she. You don't feel like she would be.
That's the thing, though. I also asked if Sai could be absorbed or whatever.
Neither of you feel like that is a risk in that, not in the sense that you're saying. Like, would she become part of the Legion? No, not in either case.
Okay, so in theory, we could have Shan and Sai bring the bones in and lay them carefully, and then just dismiss them and then resummon them, right?
Shan can't do that at all, and
Yeah.
Sai would.
Not
Go
be able
back
carry
to the
them.
You don't feel like Sai would be able to do that. Yeah.
Okay. It was a thought.
Well, it's fine. Either way, as long as I can see the target, I can cast Shan right behind him and give him disadvantage. So, I mean, if
Yeah.
we run into him, at least there's something.
There's a very specific note, though, that that I sent one of you in the chat there. This is where you guys' little got it messages would have been useful. So that could be something you guys want to plan for. So
Was it written in Thai?
nope.
No.
This was in normal text. This is the one of you that rolled high enough last week to recognize this at the time.
Okay, that's just a peachy sound because most
You
of my
guys-
stuff is
do you guys-
concentration.
Do you
It doesn't
guys
mean
think-
they'll automatically fail, so just keep that in mind. But the rest of
Yeah.
the group hasn't seemed to notice that, it seems, Artemis, just you. So if
Okay,
you're
I'm
not-
gonna let them know.
Well, then you do so.
Um,
You can tell them
Yeah.
that.
It might be hard to hold concentration in a fight because of the noise, the ringing.
Well, I mean, I can cast silence, but
What if we
So,
look at
like-
it a different way? Can we deafen ourselves?
actually, I can do that.
Intentionally fail to save.
I can, yeah, I can make you deaf.
It's an idea.
Because in theory, if none of us can hear,
Or at least the people
And it
who need concentration, like me and some of the other magic. I guess everyone but Norak, now that I think about it.
But if you need the
Norak
voice
doesn't need to
component,
concentrate on anything except for his second grade reading level.
okay, but if you need the verbal component of a spell and you're deaf, does the spell still go even if you can't hear
You can
yourself
still
say it?
speak.
Yeah.
You can still
You
speak.
can still
when you're
speak
deaf.
it, but
I feel like you're not going to immediately just be like, oh.
Well, so this is temporary deafness. It's not permanent or somebody who's been deaf since birth, which that impacts your ability to verbalize, but not if you're just temporary. If you lose your hearing
It's
for
like-
a day, let's say, yeah, you still
If
have to
you're
speak
wearing
normal.
noise-canceling headphones, you don't suddenly lose the ability to speak.
that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying if you can't hear, like some spells, you have to hear them for the effect to go, or so
Yeah,
it's
but
just.
So
not-
that's what you mean. So
That's
like,
the target, though, right?
Yeah,
so that
that's
would be
normally the
more-
target, but if
Yeah,
you say
that
the
would be
spell
if-
wrong,
that would be if I did it like casted silence instead of if I use silence, that could be a problem if we're in the bubble. Or I could cast deafness on all of us, or the people that need it. It's going to take a decently. Ooh, how does that work with pact magic?
What?
my blindness deafness is pact magic. It's 2nd level, so does that mean I can only cast it? I can't upcast it, can I?
Correct. Yeah, you can only
Okay.
use your pack slots. For
All
that.
right, so I can make
You can
one person.
cast it using your other slots, but it's only at the slot level. You can't
Oh, got
upcast
it.
except for pack magic. Yeah.
Wait. Okay.
You can't upcast it using regular spell levels.
Got it. Yeah. So I can make one person deaf. Or I could cast silence in a 20-foot radius sphere, and we could stay in it. But if you need to speak to cast your spells, which I do for like all of them.
I do for most, sadly.
So we're kind of. Do you think? Because here's the thing: the sound's not coming from the creature. The sound's coming from the thinny, right? It's coming from that break between
it's the
worlds.
thinny.
So it's not.
Could you cast it on the thinny? Silence?
I mean, yes, I suppose. I don't know if it's big enough. I think it's more of a general coming from like, a plane of existence, more like not an individual spot. The way I understand how thinnies probably work in my brain.
Okay, so silence is like an area of effect, correct?
Yeah. 20-foot radius.
Okay.
It's definitely bigger than that. Norok would be able to tell you guys that the thinny that's there is like a hole in the floor, kind of. It's essentially disc shaped, and it is probably 100 feet across.
Yeah,
So
because I
it's
feel.
radius.
Yeah, because I mean, if we can hear it here, like that weird fucking sound.
That right there.
Yeah, if we can hear
Oh,
It's not
okay,
just
that's
coming
really
from
hurting my head.
any spot.
That sound, like
Yes.
legitimately, Fox.
Yeah.
Well, that is. He just made it very accurate for everybody. Then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that is. I'll go ahead and turn it off. You guys have. I mean, it's just background noise. It doesn't.
No, we gotta make sure Fox's head doesn't fall off. It's
Well, I mean, it is a very
Treasure.
annoying sound, so it doesn't surprise me at all. It's just
No, like my head is hurting regularly, and like
Yeah.
it's very sound sensitive, so sounds seem amplified, and that is hard to concentrate as is. Let alone add another sound.
The thinny sound is
Best
just as effective in
GM
real life.
ever.
Yeah, really, exactly. Now, if I could only deafen you guys and poison you guys in real life, right?
So, what's our game plan here? We gonna go in? Like, who's gonna go in first? I don't want to be like rude or anything, but kind of feel like Norok needs to be leading this charge. I'll give him some. I'll give you some. What do you think, Norok? If we do go in, if we do, as I look around, see if there's any ghosts listening.
As you look around, did you did you go inside the dome? Where are you at?
I went back inside after we stole the shit from the.
Okay, Sarah, did you went inside too, or you guys kind of spread out
Yeah,
and talking?
I would have.
All right, I'm gonna go and move you guys in.
inside.
Then Sarah would be the only one, I think. Yeah, that can see them. The spirits have definitely started kind of collecting outside the light, just outside the radius of the light.
Where is the light radius? Because I can't. Okay, I see.
Yeah,
They're kind of around where we can't.
yeah, they're
necessarily
gathering
see
all
them.
around the periphery. They're all over, but you're the only one to be able to see them.
All right, and then
Maybe
I'm
yeah,
gonna
Nazim
whisper.
can't see him where he is. Sorry.
I'm gonna whisper. So, I was worried about this. If they surround us in the morning and they don't want to let us go down there, we may just have to like disengage and dash for the fucking hole and just everybody jump in. Like I can cast Feather Fall so we can at least, float down, but if we're gonna save our resources for this thing, we're just gonna have to run from these guys.
No, that's fine.
Leroy Jenkins.
I might use like a spell to thunderstep my way through.
That'd be like you already can't go up any further than you are now. You're already trapped in this level.
Yeah.
With the whole temple crash down above, and you'd be going down one more level and also trapped there.
Well, trap. The thing is, I don't know about you guys, but I'm just planning if we get stuck here, we could just use one of the circle of return and get the hell home.
Yeah, I mean that is going to have to be how we get out of here.
Do we have a plan to try and kill it though?
I think we just got to have Seraphina here use try to use that expel to give us at least a minute of time. Banish the creature back for a minute, because then it comes right back, right after a minute, just right
Well,
fucking
no.
back there.
If we are not on the plane, it works exactly like the banishment spell, right?
very similar to it, yes. As
Yeah,
far as the part
so
you're about to
if-
say, yes.
Yeah, so if it is not originally from the plane that we are on, when we're fighting it, and I cast banishment on it and it works, it will be gone. If I can maintain concentration for a minute, it'll stay gone.
Yes, that last part is very
If it
important. If she
is-
loses concentration, it snaps right back.
Yeah, if it is
Okay.
native to the plane that we're fighting on, then
Alright.
it is gone for a minute.
Do
then I
you-
can concentrate, and then it'll be back.
All right, this is good. I'm glad we're learning about this. So,
Okay,
do
so is
you
there a way we
require
can
a
help?
verbal component for this? I know the spell does, but since you've got the amulet, do you have to like talk to the amulet, or do you just kind of like do you have to say a keyword when you harm a creature? So I think it's just when you harm a creature, or you use an action to attempt the
Spend an
expulsion.
action. Yeah.
So I don't think
So-
it's got a verbal component. I think we should just go in.
You can
And-
just deafen me so I can maintain concentration.
Yeah, or at least better.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm gonna make you
And then-
deaf. But before I
y'all
do
are gonna
that,
have
You
to
sound
Yeah.
extremely giddy about that.
it
by the
only
way.
lasts 1 minute, so I can't do it till we get closer.
That's fine.
But hopefully, and I think everyone else, we're just gonna have to. I'll make you deaf, and I'll make you invisible. So hopefully, you've got a few things
Bringing-
working for you on that one.
Bringing up Shan would cause me to not be
No,
invisible.
I'm giving you
right?
greater invisibility. I'm giving you. You can do whatever the hell you want for 1 minute invisible. So
Sweet.
I don't know how much time we'll have. It might take me a few seconds to do both.
We'll be good. We'll figure it out. Norok, that means you will not be hasted though, because if I gotta concentrate on banishment, I can't concentrate on haste.
It doesn't matter. We're not intending to attempt
Yeah,
to.
you just
destroy
try to
anyone.
get. You just try to get your friend. Do you know, Norak, when we're in here, what do you have to do with your friend? What do you have to do with them physically?
I'm sure there's probably, DM question. I'm sure there's probably, words that need to be said or like a little prayer kind of thing, right? I'm not just Hail
No
Mary.
words.
Right.
Yeah, it's there's no words. There's a metal ring down there. One forged by the Yogg before they kind of forgot how to do that kind of thing. And that ring, you need to be in the middle of it. You need to put his bones there, and you take sticks and you put a ring of sticks essentially inside the ring of metal, and just finish the steps essentially of that, and then walk out. That's it.
Guys,
It takes like a minute or so is probably fine when
you
you're in a
forgot
hurry.
to bring sticks.
I was just gonna
No,
say, do we have sticks?
Again.
I do.
Or are there
I normally
sticks
do.
down there?
You literally
Okay.
you guys are sitting inside a bowl of sticks right now. If you
I'm
wanted to
not
just
sure. I
pick them
thought the
off.
sticks. I thought the sticks here just disappeared when the spell was over. I didn't know
No,
they-
that's 3 stays. No.
The tree stays, the dome doesn't.
Yeah, the dome goes away.
that's actually really cool. I didn't realize the tree stayed. I like that.
Yeah, Artemis is growing a tree every time she does this. She just basically keeps a chunk of wood, a stick that she's growing the tree from, and then
Alright.
grows the tree and puts the dome inside of it.
I could
there-
also grow.
I'm gonna
trees
go
if you
cut
want,
some.
Like,
I'm gonna go cut
the
some branches
kind-
off real quick. Do you guys mind if I just go cut some branches off, so in case there's no sticks down there? I'm trying to cover our bases.
Yeah, I'm sure we could just take some of the wood from this tree. If that's right.
There's
You are
so like Ben Norak would know this too, but there's actually a you guys know what a sensor like a bowl for making fire, right? The sensor. So there's a sensor down there that already has sticks in it. You just use the same sticks. They've been there forever. So you can bring new ones. It doesn't matter, but the bowl's.
I don't trust Norlock's old knowledge of what this room has.
Yeah, it changed a lot since I was here.
I'm gonna
There's-
let
there's a
him
couple of-
just tell me all that. I'll be like, sure, and I'm just gonna go grab sticks, and I'm gonna put them in Norlock's bag. These are just in case you need more sticks.
There's an important point here though that you guys are skipping over, and it's because Ben isn't reading his chat or or paying attention, I guess, to what would happen, right? So let me just Ben, go ahead and read that real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I'm going to say something real quick, and I want to do this vaguely because I don't want to give things away here. But you guys all understand that this is essentially a thin place between the ethereal plane where Obo's spirit, the bones that Norok needs to put down there, the spirit needs to come out of those bones and in through the port, or through the other way, through the thinny
Out
into the
the
ethereal
thinny.
sea.
Yeah.
But the creature that's standing on top of it is literally an amalgamation of spirits. It is
So it'll
collecting
get
every
sucked
spirit.
into it.
There you go.
But if he's on a different plane of existence, he wouldn't be doing that, right?
That's fair.
He's there right now. Well,
He's there right now.
We would have
So
to.
we have. Here's the thing: you can't do that until after we get the other thing gone. So we gotta banish him if we can. Do we know of any? Is there anything else? Any other options we have? Like, I know that the thingy. Like, I'm wondering if maybe, I know attacking it, it's not going to be able to kill it, but maybe it'll weaken it to where, I don't know, maybe we can, I don't know a lot about spirits, guys. I don't know if there's some way, if Norok does this, is there some way we might be able to distract this thing enough to where it doesn't absorb it? Or do you think it's just like it's like a magnet, it just automatically gets sucked in no matter what we do?
Well, thinking about what you guys just said, Oboe being sucked in there, it made me think that there's already other spirits inside that thing too that I don't want left in there. So,
including Core.
If it
Oh
seems,
shit!
if it seems like there's any chance we can defeat it, I'm going for it. You guys can leave me if you want to, but
all right.
If we're dealing with a it's not a celestial and elemental. It's a fae though, right? That we're dealing with?
No,
Oh, no.
it's would be
undead,
closest to
technically, or?
yeah, it'd be closest to undead, really. I mean, if we needed to give it a specific classification, it would be undead. So, you know, if you have a specific effect or something for undead, then let me know. And I'll tell you if it would work.
Technically, if it's undead, we could use a magic circle to either confine or restrict or protect us. Let me throw that up in chat really quick. Hold on.
Ooh, so that's the thing. Same thing. Yeah, that was a. Wait, was that magic circle? Or was that like magic box? What about that magic box thing?
That right there. That magic circle there. And then the force cage I can use once, and that's that prison cube.
So on the. Ooh, is that right? That saving throw is only a 13 for the magic circle. I suppose this thing's probably not that charismatic though, huh? Just a big bucket of souls. I don't anticipate him being that charming.
Could be a charming bucket of souls.
Big old sofa size.
From what you guys remember from the Vastera edition, it's a whole lot of screaming. It's a bunch of faces and arms and legs sticking out of this thing. That this kind of semi-bipedal floating spirit that is constantly screaming in all directions, and those screams are exceptionally dangerous.
Gotcha. So it is charming.
Exactly.
Just so you know, that magic circle spell costs 100 gold each time you want to use it.
What is the cast time on it too? Because it seems like that would be.
It's 1 minute. It takes a whole minute to create it.
Yeah, it lasts for 1 hour, but it's 1 minute to make the circle.
Christ.
Yeah.
So we could do it and then trick it into going into it. What if I told it a story? We also have that nice little fairy friend we could use. Who's got the fairy? Is it behind my ear? Whose ear is it behind?
You just stuck the flower behind somebody's ear.
I don't. Oh, that's right. She's in a flower.
Yeah, she's inside a flower, like a closed tulip.
So don't forget, we could use that, and I think it lets you cast kind of a minor wish.
I don't know if I gave you guys the specific details of that, but essentially what it is it lets you cast Lesser Wish, which means you can replicate basically any spell once. You know, this isn't something you guys can use again. As soon as you pull her out, Sparkle Sand's sister, I think it was, she'll let you cast essentially any spell that isn't Wish. Replicate the spell. And that's it.
You can create an object of 500 golds. That's not a magic item. Let's see here. So you end up, one thing is you and up to 2 other creatures you can see regain 20 plus your level hit points, so 30 fucking something hit points for 3 of us, which is okay, but I feel like we could do that otherwise. Hey! So one of the things that she could do for minor wish is you and up to 2 other creatures can... You can see gain immunity against a spell of 3rd level or lower for 10 minutes. So 3 of us, we could use it, and 3 of us will be, safe from most spells. Although this thing probably uses whatever those built-in things are, and not even spells.
Yeah, since we know what the Vastera, since we remember the Vastera edition, do we know anything that Legion is like vulnerable to or immune to? Since we saw that whole fight.
Okay, so since you asked, go ahead and make a history check, I guess. History is probably the easiest one. Hey, Fox. You lose internet or something? Should drop.
Perfect.
The -1? No.
How did you
Oh,
even
hang on.
get that? That's not
I
right.
think you have 2 levels of 2 different exhaustion things on, I'm guessing.
Oh,
Because I see 2 different negatives on there. Yeah, you have both 3 and 2 on there right now, and you should only get 2. So just hit the X, not the delete.
I mean,
just hit the
to
X.
be honest, you still would have only had.
Yeah, what did you roll? A 6?
You would have had a 5.
Yeah, it was
I
a.
don't have any. No, I don't
Yep.
have any rerolls left, so never mind.
Yep.
All right, I'm just gonna go ask. I'm gonna go out of the tree, and I'm gonna go find that witchy woman again.
Are you talking about the wish thing? Because mine not crushed.
Yeah, they were talking about first. They were talking about the lesser wish from the Sparkle Sand sister in the tulip, but Sarah was thinking back over the Vast Erudition, trying to remember if the Legion had any particular weaknesses.
Ooh, that's good.
Also, if we used, you
It
said it
went
could
bad.
cast.
Aw.
It was a bad roll. She got a -1.
It was a good thought.
Would,
That was a very good thought.
would the Sparkle Sands sister be able to cast banishment as an action, or is that too high of a level spell? Or is
Okay, so okay, I see what you're saying. Just to have her cast it,
just in
as
case
her spell.
Yeah, I mean we've got her. We might as well use her for something.
Yeah, I mean that's probably, honestly, just to be clear to you guys, that's probably the most powerful thing you guys have.
Yeah.
It doesn't get much play. You guys haven't really thought about it much, but it is probably the most powerful thing you guys have.
Wait,
where is
would
she?
she
Is
be
she in
able
your
to-
inventory, Fox?
Yeah,
don't
she
see her in
should
the
be
bag.
somewhere in my inventory.
Okay.
I didn't put her in the bag of holding, but she should be in my inventory
Okay.
because she's a living thing.
Yep.
And Pogo said, "Hey, let's just put her in the bag of holding." And I was like, "Nope, super her up." Yeah. Well, instead of casting banishment, because it just banish it back technically to would it just banish it back to the island in the sea, or would it banish it somewhere else? And would banishing make it relinquish the rest of the souls that it gobbled up or not? Because if we could do a lesser wish to actually solve the problem instead of just banishing it, wouldn't that be better?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what options Lesser Wish actually has. Let me see. I keep seeing Minor Wish or Limited Wish.
So lesser wish is it literally just replicates any spell that is not wish.
Christ. So, all right. Who's got a book on spells?
Minor wish would get you 13 to 18 years.
Yeah, right? All right. So I'm going to go ask the ghost lady if they know of any weaknesses. I'm going to say, can I find her? Can I kind of glance around? Cast light
you
again
actually,
on the sword.
yeah, when you came back, you saw Norok and Nazim coming back from the southwest, and they had, been speaking with Axia over there. She's presumably still over there. It's about 7:30 in the morning at this point, guys. So
It's going to kind of squeeze through all these ghosts, and that's part of me.
Okay.
I like her cool beanie, and then I'm going to go find her.
All right.
So we're just curious, because we know that this is a very,
So
scary-
you approach the hole that leads down to the thinny. The sound is even more unnerving here, and you do see Axia across the distance. The Death Knight Tiberius is right next to you. So to talk to her, you basically have to shout past him to be able.
Oh, I
to
got to
talk to him.
shout past him.
Well, I mean, she's on the other side of the hole, and he's on the side that he's right next to you.
All right.
Oh, by
Well,
the
I'm
way,
just
I
gonna-
forgot to ask. Is your laptop working okay now?
Hasn't crashed yet.
All right, good.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. I'm a big fan of that. You know what pisses me off too? I looked for that, and I could not find that dumb fix. It was a really
I
simple
specifically
fix,
looked
too.
on the Foundry Discord for it, and just for WebGL, because I knew there was a problem with WebGL crashing, and I hadn't looked up what the specific one was, which graphics card. And then when I saw which one it was, that graphics card is in basically every laptop for the last 3 years. So yes.
So what's the real quick? What's the highest level spell that thing can cast, or is it like any
8.
spell?
No, it's 8. Yeah.
All right. So we're just talking, and we're curious about this thing, Legion, that came through. Do you know anything more about it? Is it does it have any weaknesses, or is it just all powerful? Is there anything that hurts it more than anything else? Just in case, one day if it does escape and it does have to be dealt with more so, we're curious now to find out if it has some sort of possibility for the future, something we can let people know about, just in case it does escape.
So here's so her reply initially. She says, "We've only seen it, but 2-3 times maybe. We know very little about it beyond that it's a creature we can't allow to escape. But what you kind of did there, I don't know if you did this intentionally, but what you kind of did is ask her to roll a history check. You understand why? Well, she saw the Vast Erudition too, remember? This is why they know about this thing, and that's why she was able to tell you all about it. And it just so happens, I told you guys this last week too, that she's an analyst, she's a historian. So not only she's proficient. No, it was a great option. You just accidentally stumbled on asking a historian to remember something.
It's not accidental. I knew who I was looking for and what questions I was trying to ask.
That's fair. I just mean specifically that you kind of asked her to remember what Sarah got a -1 on.
Yeah, I'm not 100 monkeys with typewriters.
I didn't mean it like you stumbled on it. I meant it more like that you essentially got around one of you guys having to roll a history check for it and put it on the NPC who is extremely proficient in history. So whether it was an intentional thing, I didn't think it was quite to that level, but she definitely has a much higher chance of being successful at it than any of you guys. So with a 9, she still got a 19 rolling a history check. She tells you that the collection of creatures. Fox, are you back in Discord or in Foundry rather?
Yep.
Okay. I didn't see you on the bottom since yours crashed, but as long as you're in there and you can see stuff, you're good. You did see that history check roll and everything, right?
No.
Okay, then you might
Last
need to
thing I
refresh.
see is the 4th gauge calorie.
Okay, yeah, refresh Foundry then, because there was a couple of things after that too. They weren't important. I just want to make sure that you're back in case important stuff comes up. But she tells you that the amalgamation of spirits is extreme from what she knows from the Vast Erudition, as you all do as well. The collection of creatures are already driven mad and therefore extremely susceptible to psychic damage.
Ooh.
They are all crazy. Like it is literally, it's like
a ball of insane ghosts.
Yes, it's a ball of insane ghosts that are screaming in all directions at all times. And those screams, just so that you guys, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you just this because this is stuff that she would tell you. We'll come back to that. You might need to make a persuasion check here shortly. But anyways, as far as how the creature operates, at least, which she's able to talk to you about, she's not been forbid from doing so from Tiberius. It is a floating ball of screams in all directions of kind of faces pushing out from this gelatinous floating orb thing. And those screams have a lot of very deadly effects. So some of them just do a lot of damage. Some of them will petrify. Some will stun. Some will put you to sleep. Things like that. That
is the most helpful thing we could have possibly gotten right there.
Yeah, it's a lot of very bad, and those are all essentially at random.
So it's verbal, and so we'll make one person deaf. That person's going to be much better if this is a verbal component. But I could still cast silence on this beastie, and
just screaming Malro.
We'll just have to stay. We'll have to stay close
like
to it. Yeah. We'll have to try to keep it inside the area. Maybe you can use one of your spells to keep it there, and I'll cast silence around it.
She does tell you that it teleports around the area down there frequently.
What a dick!
And it's also, it is also because it has absorbed a lot of very powerful spirits. It is essentially, you would know that it will be very tough to keep effects on it, is what I'm going to say. Mechanically, it has legendary resistance.
Good. So, I mean...
And we still have 2 points of exhaustion.
Well, we're going to have a night's sleep. We're waiting here until we do anything, but if we do anything...
I wish we had a library.
You got plenty of libraries. You're just not near one at the moment. There's one down here.
Oh wait, there's a library down here?
No, there's not one down here. Yeah, you guys have a library back at the Crow Fort. There's a small one in the Kettle Keep as well that you took some books from. But you guys have vast access to knowledge. Well, the books that you stole and brought back to it, I guess is how I'd say that. But Ozzy has plenty in the library at the Crow Fort. But while you're kind of parsing this information there, Pogo, you see her gaze kind of snapped. She's essentially ignoring you again after she's told you what the information she gave, and her eyes snap back over to Tiberius, and they're clearly communicating back and forth between the two. Make a. Go ahead.
Can I ask what happens when when the thing gets too big, like the thing gets bigger, and these guys that thing comes out, and these guys get sucked in? What happens then? Like,
who are you
think they'd
asking?
want to help?
Because you're stuck in the orb. Yeah. Okay. If you're asking, okay. Yeah. If you're asking the rest of the party.
Mm-hmm. Like, wouldn't they want to help?
Well, you would think so, but apparently they seem to think that they'll stand a chance, I guess. Which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. You'd think actual people would stand more of a chance than spirits that could get sucked in.
So, basically, I'm going to tell it to you this way. The impression that you guys got essentially from Tiberius is that as long as nothing, no people, no nothing, pierces the seal, the shield that's surrounding him from the outside, the barrier that's keeping him in, as long as nothing goes through that, he should be stuck in there for plenty of time, basically. The Thinny's growth is exceptionally slow. We're talking like the heat death of the universe kind of thing. It's not something that happens rapidly. It'll be thousands of years before it grows to the point where it would even get close to the barrier anyway. So neither of those are like a concern at the moment, and this has only been a problem for the last 10 months now, since the hunger. So since the Vast Erudition. So this isn't a problem they've been protecting against for years or anything like that. This is relatively new.
Okay, gotcha. So they don't really want to do anything until it becomes a bigger problem. All they were instructed to do is not let anybody in. Or let him out, obviously. But he can't get out on his own. That is kind of weird instructions, because wouldn't you want to deal with the problem when it's small instead of waiting till it's too big?
Yeah, but they can't deal with it because they'll get sucked in. Because they're
out of curiosity, do you think, is this more of one creature, or are each of the souls that are stuck inside of it different creatures?
They're different creatures, but they're amalgamated into one, right?
Are you asking Axia?
Yeah, I'm asking Axia. Is it what happened? Can you if it were to get loose, can you attack each soul one at a time, or is it all just one animal, one dark creature that just is kind of shared its own life force?
You're asking if it's a soul pinata.
Yeah, can I knock some souls out of it? Can we knock the more souls we knock out? Does it get weaker?
It's funny you should ask such a thing, because that is very much the vision of the battle that you saw. Was very close to that, essentially. Basically, the creature itself isn't a creature and therefore can't be hurt as one single unit. But as it is hit, souls fall off of it, and those can be damaged. And to destroy it, essentially, you have to tear it apart. You have to keep breaking spirits off of it, essentially, and then destroy them, and then do it again, and do it again, and do it again. That's the only way to really take it apart.
Screaming, writhing Toblerone of spirits.
Yeah, break them all off. Break them off one by one, or as many as you can, anyways, and then damage them. That's how you'd have to kill it.
So, in essence,
or destroy it.
In theory, it would be basically just persevering through knocking enough of them off. So it'd be, can we actually outlast this thing and not die in the process?
That's a pretty fair assessment for what you saw via the Vast Erudition. Yeah, that it is. You have to survive while it's destroying everybody, and not only that, but the spirits that are separated from it are still insane and still hostile.
There's I heard of a really cool spell called Psychic Scream, but it's too high. None of us will be able to do it, even with that little fairy's help.
I've got Psychic Lance.
Ooh.
So who does the most psychic damage, and would it be weak to anything else like fire or something?
Well, I've got 7d6 psychic damage, and it is incapacitated if it fails an intelligence saving throw.
Fucking use that shit!
I have psychic spheres.
Are we just? I'm starting to think we just need to make sure she doesn't die. let's just all make sure Serafina stays alive, albeit deaf, and then she just hits it with that, and she can banish it, and maybe then we can do first we can break some of those spirits off, like a Kit Kat bar.
Question, do we know what happens to the spirits? So I know the spirits that break off, they're still mad and crazy, we gotta fight them, but once we kill them...
They get sucked back into the thinny. Yeah. So
Okay.
what you saw in the
Correct.
Vast Erudition, so this was, like 5 years ago now, or 4 years ago now, whatever it was, during the Crystal Kingdom arc and balance. But when you guys were fighting you remember the pink tourmaline, everything, right? Sako, I think you probably remember that. It was your first arc, yeah. So when you guys were fighting the Legion there, and bits of it would fall off, once they were damaged enough, they'd get sucked back in through the disc that Oliver had made. And the nearest thing to this will be the Thinny, which will be right, in this chamber with him, essentially.
So essentially, we just have to knock off the right spirits, which are Norok's people, so Core and whoever else he needs to knock off, so they can go back in once we kill them, and then we can banish this thing and be done.
I mean, I love it. We'll just focus on those. We'll banish, and then he'll make his little, funeral rites, and then we have to make a circle immediately and get out.
Okay, well, if everybody stays close, I could focus on healing, and since I have the Wood Sage's Chorus, all my healing spells are up cast by 2 levels.
I can also try to cast, I know that it travels, so it might not help, but if I cast silence around us and we stay close, I know we won't be able to cast spells that have a verbal component, but we also won't be able to hear.
I won't be able to be in that silence because Psychic Lance is only verbal.
Yeah, most of mine is verbal as well, so...
I'm also not
Most of my
100%
healing
sure on
spells
how
are
my
also
thing works.
verbal, or have a verbal component,
Synaptic
so...
statics and stuff, yeah.
So this is what I'll do. Maybe I'll just create it around...
Are you going back to the the dome to talk to everybody, the orb? Or are you still talking with Axia?
Well, actually, this would technically be, I think, more
Pineapple?
later. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So I wouldn't be talking to Axia here. I think
Okay.
I got everything I needed.
If this planning stuff, that's fine. You can just say that it's happening later in the day. That's fine. There's enough nebulous time for this day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All fucking
My curiosity was whether you're discussing your plan right in front of Tiberius and Axia.
No, I'm very careful every time we're in front of them. I'm speaking as if maybes.
That's the reason that I gave you the benefit of the doubt there is because you were specifically talking about whispering while you were in the orb earlier. So, yeah, you were already being careful about it. So I figured you would be now too. Is what I'm saying.
So, I mean, we have an idea of what we can do. It's obviously going to be really hard to know if it's going to work until we get down there.
Yeah, and I mean, what plan goes 100% the way you want it to?
None.
So I think, a nice baseline plan is good, and then we just see how the fuck shit goes.
Let's see here.
Oh, and
There's not a lot of spells that do psychic damage.
I've got a couple. I've got the Psychic Lance, and then I think...
How much damage does that do?
Shit.
Plus, you do an extra 2d8 each turn when you hit with that.
Oh, 7d6 Psychic.
Yeah, plus you do a 2d8 some other type of damage, force damage.
Great.
So, I mean, I do 3d4 with Vicious Mockery. Pew, pew, pew!
Whoops, that was 66. I was rolling it to get an average there, but it was 66, so it'd be a little bit more than that, potentially. Depending on rolls. A couple of ones in there, though.
A Shadow Knife that does 2d8 psychic damage when I hit with it. And then I think that's it for my psychic stuff.
That is a lot. That's still a lot of... That's more than I have. I'm just going to try to keep you alive.
What
Best
is
I can.
the psychic damage off of? Is it off, wisdom or something?
What are you asking? I'm not sure what you mean.
Oh, I'm asking to see how I'd find them because I have so many spells. It's not funny.
You wouldn't see them that way at all. You'd have to you probably have to Google it essentially, just because you have so many spells. There isn't any way to sort them by their damage type in Foundry like that.
Okay.
So
that would be something that'd be nice if they added. I'll look.
It would be. There might be an add-on that does it. It's just not something I have installed.
Okay,
But you could do D&D 5e druid spells with psychic damage or something like that. Obviously, you would need to potentially prepare it, but you could change prepared spells in the morning.
I mean, couldn't you also get that spell that she has? Could you get that from your book or whatever?
Psychic Lance? Yeah, it's full level, so.
Yeah, so
I don't think druids have it though.
Oh, druids don't get that one.
I don't think so. Yeah.
Oh no,
Well,
sorry, I
those would be
thought you were
sorcerer
talking
spell.
about the flower. Never mind.
No, she could. I mean,
Maybe that's pretty low.
we'll use her as maybe a last resort. We could also use her to, I believe, teleport out of there. Like if it's worst comes to worst.
Yeah.
But we got to make sure,
Probably be faster than making a circle, getting out.
I think it's just one action. So teleport itself is just a spell, but I think you have to know the area. But we know our home pretty well.
So you can't just teleport to random places. It has to be to circles.
Oh, that's right.
But you could teleport back to the so just to be clear though, just so you guys have this, if you're not able to cast that teleportation spell, the actual spell for teleportation, you would have to draw a circle, and drawing a circle takes time, and you may not have much of it. So keep that in mind if you guys need to spend a spell slot that you would otherwise need for teleport.
So familiarity, let's see. If there's a permanent circle, it's 100%. Associated object, 100%. Very familiar. Looks like you're gonna do the thing where you roll a D100 to determine if you get there.
No,
like under teleport?
So teleportation's a little different in my setting here, but specifically only to circles that you know the runes for. You don't necessarily ever have to have been there as long as you know it, and that's essentially where you would have it drawn in a book, which both of them do. For the Crow Fort and on Gwynsair, the circle on Gwynsair as well.
So just so we're concerned, just to make sure, if we run into the absolute shite and this thing is just we just need to leave, we can use her to teleport us back to the keep, just all at once.
Use the lesser wish is what you're asking?
Yeah, we could use that and cost teleport.
Yeah, that's a one action thing. So
yeah. So I think that should be our absolute, probably going forward, just in general, if half the people are dead and we just need to get the fuck out.
Yeah, but we only get to use her once. So.
But we're not gonna need that. The broom level is probably not here. It's just an option.
Yeah, that's a ripcord pull if you needed it. That would make sense.
Absolutely. But we got other things. I'm gonna be honest. I'm just gonna try to keep you alive. I can make you invisible. I can make you deaf. It only lasts 1 minute. I'll try to make you deaf first, so that whatever thing that's doing doesn't hurt you worse. So I'm really sad I can't make everyone deaf, but we can plug our ears. I know it's not going to help a lot, but we could cover something in our ears.
Look at you. Making her invisible to the world and silencing her. Britney Spears dead.
We're just going to hear the weird deaf sounds coming from somewhere. No, I'm just kidding. That was rude.
Archer, when there's explosions nearby.
Druids don't have any because I failed my investigation check. No spells found.
Yeah, I googled it and I couldn't find any either. There's one primordial ward, I think it is, but it's for defending against, if I remember right.
Okay.
Well, we can still do the normal things that we do. It's just not going to be quite as.
Yeah, to be clear, it was vulnerable. Yeah, exactly. It was vulnerable to psychic damage, but it doesn't mean that it's
not like
immune
to everything else.
Yeah.
So
we
it
still
is
have
resistant
other
to
things
some
we could
stuff, but yeah.
So what I could do is, because Avar uses arrows, I could put flaming arrows on his quiver, and then I could probably use Firestorm or something.
No, Avar's. Oh shit!
Oh.
Wait, Avar's still fucking here, isn't he?
Yep.
Yeah.
Fucking Avar! Forgot about your 9-foot tall 10-year-old ass. Shit.
Well, you can just make me invisible and deaf, and then just take care of Avar. I'll take care of myself. I mean, I'll be fine. Nobody can see me anyways.
If you drop the invisibility, need healing, or if you need healing, drop the invisibility and I'll heal you. Like I said, I could also give people good berries, just to make sure like you could top yourself off a bit.
I think those are only 1 hit point each, right?
Yeah, it's 1 hit point each, but it also
healing potions in the bag of holding too.
Yeah, there's also the healing potions, but some of them are very old.
Yeah,
It'll make you sick.
Well,
So
the
if you
spoiled
eat-
ones, yeah, you have
Yeah.
those specifically
Yeah,
marked,
I've
but
got 2 of those.
yeah.
I've got actually a full greater potion of healing just in case, so I deal with that. All right, can I get that? Does anyone else want that pearl? Since you're not going to be using it, since you're going to be using that magical, Chuck E. Cheese token around your neck.
Offer
What about the water thingy?
The what?
The other thing that you guys got? You getting?
Oh,
Well, that
bring it
one
away.
doesn't require. You don't have to be attuned to that one.
Yeah,
That's
it
just you
doesn't
wear
require attunement. You just wear it.
Alright, so who wants it?
I could take it if nobody else does because I like creatures.
Yeah, why don't we give it to her? She can, if in case she finds herself in trouble in the water, she has that. Did anyone ask? There's no water down there, right? We're not going into a lake. This is ground. This is like a solid ground.
It's just underground caves, right? Just
Yep,
more.
except for the thinny itself, which essentially falls into the ethereal sea.
But that's not really water.
It's not a sea.
You could put boats on it, is how I'll say that. Yeah, it's not a sea
Yeah.
in the general sense. It is of
Actual creatures
yeah,
is
it's
going to be my
spiritual
next
energy.
question. Okay.
Yeah,
Are
probably
there
not.
spiritual animals in there though?
Certainly, but you guys would be in a worse place if you fell through that potentially than if you didn't. So you don't want to try to fall through the thinny, is what I'm saying.
Well, I wouldn't want to fall into it.
Okay,
oh,
sorry.
right. And the creature you're summoning has to be the same kind of existence as you, doesn't it?
It wouldn't. Yeah, you don't feel like you would be able to summon anything through the thinny.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, if we have a basic plan, Sarah's gonna sit down with her book and try to study some of that damn spell she got.
Okay.
If you want help, let me know. I'm bored.
I am going to find the best things that I can find to make ear coverings. And I'm going to spend my day trying to put together ear coverings for everybody.
Okay. Not in ear, but over ear.
Oh, both. Like, I'm going to
Okay.
be trying to create, and I'm going to be testing it with my own ears.
Okay.
I'm going to see what works best.
I'll help Pogo too.
Okay. Then Pogo, give me an investigation check with advantage for Norok helping you. Look for materials that might be best for this.
I'm
Where
going to be
are you
going through our
looking?
own shit, too. All of our shit. I'm going through our bags. I'm making us some headphones.
Well, I have a tinderbox which usually has dry cloth, although it is soaked in light oil.
Don't light those on fire.
Anybody gets near a fire source and just your brain goes up.
Yeah, I mean, I have, I think I have. I have some fancy clothes. Actually, no, I don't. I have some traveler's clothes, so like I could take apart clothes. Does anyone have any feathers? What would be good? We got,
I
and
have
then we got.
feathers because I normally make arrows. Wait, the spirits don't normally like light, right? So if I use daylight and we stay within the bubble of the daylight, I don't think the thing would bother us because it wouldn't like the light, right?
The problem is it's sound. Like it could be 100 feet away and just scream at us like a banshee.
True.
You back, Sokko?
But
They were
daylight would still
discussing making ear protection.
Yeah, so we're making ear protection the best we can because Sarah's the only one who's going to be truly, more immune to this.
Do keep in mind too, you were talking about invisibility and deafness.
Deafness isn't. I don't think
Concentration?
deafness is concentration.
Okay.
I'll double check though.
I thought it was, but I could be wrong. I didn't look.
Boop, boop, boop. No concentration.
Okay. All right, with that check then, the cotton that is in, the tinder kit, essentially for a tinderbox, it's essentially like well-packed cotton, essentially, and you can spread it out like spider webs, like Halloween spider webs, right?
Sure.
And that would be ideal, except that it is intended to be, used for that, and it isn't. It feels a little oily to the touch, so it'd probably be extremely uncomfortable, but probably effective as long as you don't get hit in the face with fire.
Anyone have any wax? Do we have candles?
Any candles?
Not that I know of, actually. There'd be some at the fort, but I wouldn't have brought some with us.
No.
The earlier when they were lighting the torches, they weren't candles, right? They were torches on the walls.
It was a torch, yeah.
They're called rush lights, but yeah, they're
Right.
essentially like a torch. They do have some wax on them. That's how you make them, but yeah.
Shove a
It's got
fucking
tinderbox, that's it.
pitten in my ear and just stab my drums out.
Well, if we needed to, I do have a bedroll. We could rip up my fucking bed. Stick that
You guys,
in there.
there's plenty of cloth, so I'll go ahead and put it
Yeah,
to you
we
that way.
got cloth, we just-
probably won't be the most effective, but you can so take like a thin piece of shirt and rub it over a sharp rock until it becomes very thin thread. That's how you can make tinder that way if you needed to for like a campfire if you're in the woods or something. So if you kind of intentionally distress cloth enough that it becomes more thready and kind of opened up, the way that like damaged like a hole in a shirt or something might be, same idea. So you could do that and it would be you feel like it'd be probably moderately effective. Wax or something like that would be much more effective.
Yeah,
if you
that's
could
what I was
acquire it.
wondering.
Would I have anything in my component pouch?
What's in the bag of holding? I'm gonna go through this
Yeah.
bag of holding. Do you mind, Arteme, if I just start poking through this stuff?
Just be careful. And don't lose anything from
Oh
it.
fuck! Something bit my finger on this fucking thing. The hell was that?
Probably some little coin-shaped things.
We have an entire set of Juthrin heavy plate armor in this fucking thing.
Yes,
you
yes,
guys
I do.
stripped one of the knights that you murdered.
Is that a helmet? Is that a helmet in here?
Yeah, there is.
All right, I'm gonna take that helmet out and I'll be like, all right, we can do this.
It's human size. You try to put that
Yeah.
thing on, and
No,
it's going to
no.
sit on your shoulders
That's-
and still be up like 8 inches off the top of your head.
That's what I'm saying. Is you fill all the inside with like an entire bed material,
That would be
and I
useful
put
if
it-
you're trying to sneak into a movie.
and I'm gonna shove it on Avar's fucking head so he can't hear shit. I'm gonna
Alright.
load it up. He's
not
gonna
covering
hear
the eyes, but the
anything.
rest of the head.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna load up all the size of this fucking metal helmet for Avar until he can't hear a single thing I'm saying.
Do I have to wear this all day, though? Can
You should have been here.
at least?
Hey, here's the candles. All right, I found some candles, guys. So I'm going to take the candles and I'm going to kind of melt them a little bit and try to roll them into kind of like I'm making snakes, making snakes with some heated wax.
Sure.
And I'm gonna make it squish it down a little bit and just shove it in my ears
Like
until they
making
kind of like a
earbuds,
little
like
warm,
earbud
making
shapes?
hard earbuds, and then on
Okay.
top of that, I'm gonna create using what else do we have in here?
I would take all the gems and stuff out before he goes through it.
Because you can't trust Pogo's fingers.
I don't even see any gems in here.
That's
Like
the whole
gems.
point.
Real quick, so are you doing this now, or are you talking about doing this maybe when you wake up?
I would probably be doing it now. I know
Okay.
it's going to be looking weird and things outside but I feel like they know that we're still just testing. I know, of course, we're not leaving them in. We're putting them in, trying it out, and taking. them
Oh,
out.
okay. You're just preparing them then. All right.
Yeah, I'm
so you're not-
preparing them.
Okay,
Making sure I
putting
want
these
the
are soft
whole
wax. I
day-
mean, so candles are made of beeswax rather,
Yeah.
which melts at a very low temperature. Obviously, that's how a candle works. So if you put that in your ear, just your body temperature alone is gonna melt into your ear. So I mean, if you're not
No,
leaving
no.
them in though, you're just
Eventually.
preparing them, and
Yeah.
then okay, cool. All right.
Yeah, so these are going to be. We'll put them in before we decide to head out, and I'm letting everyone know that these are, and I'm spending literally my day making these, and extra helmet with a bunch of padding for Avar,
Okay.
because I'm pretty sure he's gonna die. I'm not saying it, but
You're not saying that
Pogo's
out loud.
pretty sure Avar's gonna be dead.
Okay.
We should use this spell scroll
gotta
of
protect the leather.
augury before we go down there in the morning.
Use
I
what?
mean, the problem is,
The
no matter what the spell scroll says, is it gonna change anything?
No, but at least it'll give us a heads up, so maybe we can plan something different than what we had planned.
Yeah, sure. I mean, fuck it. We never use any of our shit. Might as well.
I mean, it's just been sitting in here for God only knows how long.
Which
Yeah.
scroll?
The augury.
Yeah.
Literally the very first dungeon you guys went into.
Yeah.
That was the Kafunamat. That was the pyramid, like the very first dungeon.
I mean, it's got to be 30 minutes before we do our thing, but I mean, it's worth a shot. We can at least get an idea of how we think it's gonna go.
Yep. Sure.
All right. So, any other plans? Like anybody else preparing anything else before? I guess the rest of the day. You guys still have plenty of time. It's only at this point we'll call it around 10 a.m. or so. You have till about 8 p.m. before you can even get the benefits of a rest. Meaning you'll still need to sleep from 8 p.m. on. But anybody else doing anything else? In preparation or anything else? To spend the day.
I'm gonna get some tea leaves ready in case we need like the 1 hour boost of the tea.
Okay.
To fight exhaustion.
Okay.
And I'll just get that ready, but I won't actually make it for anybody until like before we leave.
So you're just gonna have little packets of the red mint tea stuff ready. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You do just for a quick catch up on everybody. Right now everybody's at 2 except for Artemi, who's at 1. But if you guys do get a full long rest, then everybody would be at 1 except for Artemi, who would be at 0. That red mint tea could bring you down to 0 essentially for about an hour, and then you'll feel awful after that. Yeah, it's essentially caffeine, so you could kind of get rid of the last level of exhaustion at least temporarily, as long as you drink it and then only have an
that's
hour
fine.
afterwards.
That's fine. I want to get home back to this nice comfy bed and our manservant. Once we're there,
Abraham.
we'll take a day, shut our eyes. We'll get back to work afterwards. But yeah, no, make some tea, darling. I appreciate it very greatly.
All right, so we got tea, we've got earbuds being made. Anybody else?
Is invisibility a concentration spell?
Yeah.
Okay, then what I'm going to do is hand over my Elven Veil ring to Seraphina temporarily, because as an action you can put it on and be invisible for up to 10 minutes, as long as you don't get close to any blood, otherwise it's going to make you visible again. So you could do that, I'm guessing without concentration. Right?
Well, that's pretty awesome.
But
I'm not
attuned though.
Well, you could attune to it.
It doesn't say on here that it does, but I believe you. But it doesn't say on here that on the information. I don't see where it says requires attunement. I could be wrong.
It's definitely supposed to.
Okay.
Here, I'll put it in the text. So the thing is with Foundry is that they changed how the attunement thing works. Like you guys used to be able to just click the little sun and it would change whether it was attuned or not. But that one definitely required attunement. You had it attuned before and then you took it off.
Yeah, all my things that
Makes sense.
had the little sun are now gone, so I had to read through like all my actual things.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be more careful about making sure the text is in there for you too. I added it to that one for you, G. That's still a totally great idea. I just mean it.
If that would be a good option for you, man, it's up to you. If the other things you have attuned are going to be more beneficial, then do it.
I'll be right back.
It's just that would be an option to where you could get invisible if you had to without having to use concentration. So if you had to banish it or something,
Oh, speaking of attuned items, I'm gonna lend the snake quiver to
Davar?
Yes.
Okay.
He'll have to attune to it, but it'll give him a few things because I can't use it yet. Not until I give back the Wood Sage's chorus.
All right.
It'll give him some poisoned arrows. I will want that back though.
Yeah. This would be good because it would actually be getting some use out of that snake bolt quiver, but in the download from the Vast Air Edition, not only did you realize that with some help from Axia, realize that it is vulnerable to psychic, it is also immune to poison.
Oh, immune to poison. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay. The quiver will be useful if there's anything else that we have to fight.
Yeah, that's because it's essentially an unlimited supply of arrows that do not only poison damage but also the poison condition, which means it would have disadvantage on stuff. But this creature just happens to be immune to poison, is all.
So the poison damage wouldn't go, but it would still have disadvantage, right?
No, it's immune to both the condition and the damage.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Most undead things you can't really poison.
Yeah, usually.
Yeah, no, that's fair
Undead
enough.
or
But I'll still
spirits or
use
ghosts.
flaming arrows on it anyway.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that'll help.
Okay.
I want to be honest, guys. I am not feeling confident with my abilities going into this fight.
Alright, then if I take the ring and it lasts for 10 minutes without concentration, right? As long as I stay away from blood.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Here's the problem.
Oh, wait. If I attack something, as long as I don't get hit with the blood, right?
Mhm.
So 5 feet of, okay.
As long as the blood is not within, yeah, whatever, I think it's a 5 foot, yeah, 5 foot radius. And to be clear, you getting hit releases blood.
Counts.
Something hitting, somebody standing next to you releases blood. It's any blood at all, and not just your own, not just anybody else's. Yeah, so even your own. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not. It's not that time of the month for anything, right?
Come on.
It attracts bears.
Alright, if I take this ring, then I would be taking off my displacer boots, which makes me harder to hit.
Well, I'm
Well,
gonna
what
go
else do you
to the-
have? Because you're able to have 3 things, right?
It would be the Rod of Absorption, but the Rod of Absorption lets me cast up to a 5th level spell, so I can cast Psychic Glance a bunch of times,
Gotcha.
even if I don't have spell slots for it.
Well, what else? The other thing you have, though.
Can I
the
just say,
amulet
your
of
stuff is
Excel.
so much cooler than mine. Look, I got these. I can make like a little buddy. That's all that really does. And I can make myself, like with the hat, I can make myself look a foot taller. You're like, oh, I can just cast Psychic Glance a few times with mine.
Sarah is used to a very cushy life, so she is like, anything that is going to help me not die, I'm keeping.
Anything that's efficient, yeah.
Yep.
Me, it's more like healing to keep the group alive. I don't like dying.
This is gonna be me in a hole running around trying to keep a 10-year-old child from getting murdered.
Maybe we should give the ring to Avar.
No, why? What? No.
Because then he'd be
Oh,
invisible
that
and
one.
he wouldn't die.
Yes. Well, here's the
Actually.
problem. Again, I mean, that's fine. It's better. It's just I'm worried that he's. I'm not sure how much he's going to be able to hear inside that cushy helmet with the wax in his ears, but I'm more worried about that.
Yeah, because if he can't see him, he can't hear us.
Yeah. Once I was in a bathroom and someone farted so loud that it hurt my ears, and I imagine it's going to be worse than that down there.
Right, I will take off my displacer boots. Someone can use them. However, I want them back after this, if I am still alive.
What do the displacer boots do?
They make you harder to hit.
Yeah, they, it's for just 1 round. If you get hit, then I think it's your next turn.
Eh.
Yeah, start of your next turn if you get hit.
I actually like my elven boots a little bit more.
I mean,
I
if
like
no one wants them, I will put them in my backpack. Or at least wear them and unattune to them. Because that actually makes more sense. Sarah doesn't have any shoes otherwise.
Yeah, because otherwise I would rather have my Lithic of life thieving and that Pearl of Power.
Alright, anybody else want to be harder to hit?
I already have 3 things. I have my cloak, I have the skill ring of mastery, and I have the Wood Sage's course, which I'm not taking off.
Yeah, no, that thing is, you gotta keep that bad boy.
Alright, does Nora have a 3rd thing?
Those boots wouldn't fit me anywhere.
No, they'll adjust for you. It's neat.
Nope.
Yeah,
Nope.
No, nope,
No,
never mind.
no. Magic
So
boots don't
it's basically
adjust.
me or you then, because we're the only ones that would fit then.
Yep, so I'll just keep them on and unattuned to them.
You actually bought them from the halfling merchant outside of Eifelstead too, so
Yeah.
Well, you know,
They're
we can
halfling
go.
size.
We can adjust some things, but this is a weird, based off everything we learned about whatever's down there. This is a weird. This is
Avar-
going to be a weird
Yeah,
type situation.
that's absolutely fair. It very much will be. It's not just a hit it till it dies kind of thing. And that's
Yeah.
why I wanted to stress that is that you guys are planning, which is great. So all the better, because for real, I'm not kidding at all. I told Artemay this, or Fox this last week too. If Nora could just jump down the hole, at least 1 or 2 of you were going to need brand new characters. So
Yeah.
last week.
If you guys want a
that's
hint,
serious.
it wouldn't have been me.
We all already know Pogo has a side thing to get.
I would have been
out.
I would have absolutely been the last person to just jump down after hearing what was happening.
Okay, so what have we do?
Avar is small enough potentially to be able to wear the displacer boots too, though. He's
Oh.
bigger than you guys, but not by a whole lot. He's not as big as Norok or the human, or
Well.
elf size rather.
That would work and make him harder to hit, easier to keep alive.
Sure, and we're not using it right now.
Yeah, so I'll give them to him. But
Okay.
I want these back when we're done, little dude. Well,
Okay.
dude.
Can I take this thing off? I don't have to wear it all day, right?
Yes. No, you don't have to wear it all day.
No, this is just you gotta wear it. You might have to wear it tomorrow though. Actually, real quick, and I've been testing these all day. Do I feel like they're at least helping?
Yeah,
or are we just
for
gonna
sure.
look stupid?
So specifically, I'm gonna. Well, you'll still look stupid, but
Like
nobody's
there's
around
part
to see.
my head is just gonna like be wrapped in like part of a bedroll.
Like a.
There's a
okay.
Dark Souls. There's a Dark Souls knight character that it looks like a big onion, where he's just wrapped in like linens all over his body with a big linen wrapped onion.
Well,
head.
what I'm picturing here is more like around the jaw and then around the back of the head and then over the ears, like just like a bandage, right? You know, imagine having a bandage the back of your head, let's say, going kind of around your chin and then over the ears, like that, with a big pack of wax essentially in the ear to prevent it. I'll go ahead and tell you that based on the only reason you guys are getting this information is again because everybody would know the vast erudition and therefore have seen this creature before, and almost all, the vast majority of its significant damage attacks are sound based, and they're almost all saves. So you're going to have with these, if you can keep these without, he definitely looks like an onion. With those, you'll either will be adjusting the DC or possibly advantage. I guess it depends on some other factors. We'll see. But basically, you'll have a much better chance of not, being just flat out destroyed. They seem effective, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
All right. So moving the boots over to Avar. The helmet won't adjust his AC, but it will keep him, giving him similar advantage for deafness. He's not wearing any armor now. I'm going to say that it'll go ahead and bump him up a little bit. Because he doesn't have any, like, chain shirt or anything like that.
Would the armor from that I had in the bag of holding fit him, or would it be too big?
Yeah.
It'd be probably too big and too heavy. Yeah, that's a full-size
Okay.
adult. Yeah, he's not quite there yet.
Just plate mail, just tank.
Just for the sake of kind of adding some to it, because just the helmet alone wouldn't be quite enough. But I bumped him up to 12, so we'll say that you guys pull off the the van braces. So he's got the gloves, some shin guards, things like that. The things that you can essentially strap to him that he doesn't need to fit inside of, really.
Wrap him in a bedroll.
I mean, it's a little extra.
Tie a couple
dramatic.
belts around him.
Who are you sending that to? G?
I got it.
Okay.
Serving.
I'm denying them on. I get it twice, so make sure that you still have it. You should only have one in your inventory.
Yeah, I've got one.
Cool.
Yeah, it's out of mine.
And I still have the displacer boots, though.
Yeah, I dragged him off of you because he's not a PC. He doesn't have the same kind of character sheet, so I couldn't do that. So let me just delete
you just
them.
want to unattune them?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If anyone's curious, the way I remember which ones are attuned, I just use the shield to equip them to actually show that they're actually equipped.
The only trouble with that is that certain items have armor classes associated when they shouldn't, and if you click that and it changes your AC, then don't use that.
Yeah, I
Otherwise,
see.
it's fine. Yeah, as
Like
long as
the
it
My
doesn't affect your
choker
AC.
is
Elven
showing up
chain
as it's not
bumps
equipped,
mine.
but it's equipped. Like, and I can't hit the shield to equip it, so it doesn't work for all items.
Yeah, so that's what. Yeah, exactly. Some items aren't intended to be equipment, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Is it cool if we take a quick 5, guys?
sure.
Yeah, I'm not
Right.
really worried
Before
about
we get killed?
this next fight. I think we'll be okay. Honestly, I feel like we've learned a lot, and I feel like we learned as much as we could, probably more than we've ever actually learned and kind of figured out.
Can I
before going into any
Can I
big
ask you a
fight.
question though before we do?
Sure.
Would we feel that this has more than 100 hit points?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Okay, so the skull's out of the question.
Yeah. But okay. So yeah. What Justin said is very accurate. You guys, planning this is a big
I'm
difference.
feeling pretty confident. I feel.
Yeah,
I
'cause
feel
Yeah,
if you
I would not
didn't-
have wanted to go down there right away. I would have been nope.
Yeah. So
I also have some spider salve if somebody would.
the
I
spider
do
foot cell,
too.
Yeah.
You guys remember what that does?
Yeah, you
It
can run
lets
around
you climb
walls and
walls.
shit.
Yep.
Or walk upside down on a.
Yep.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: I don't know if that's gonna be helpful because it's sound.
Wait, what?
The attacks are all sound based,
So I don't know
you
if being on
hear
the
it, it could-
ceiling.
Yeah, but if I'm on the ceiling, then.
Well, being
it'll know
invisible.
Where I am. Yeah.
It's true.
won't
It
be
might
nowhere
not.
near you guys.
yeah. Like an aerial effect will stick at you or something.
Well, take your
It
take
only
your
takes
take your
that.
break real
We'll take
quick,
a
guys.
break.
I'll still be here.
Yeah.
Go ahead and take your break, and then you guys can do some more planning after we're back.
Wait a minute.
Okay.
Oh, just an FYI, any spare time is spent studying that spell.
Okay.
I'll help her with the spell because she said she wanted help the other time, but I
Sure.
just don't. If you want to show it to me,
Yeah, we could just like find a corner to sit in the bubble and do it.
Yeah,
yeah,
no problem.
sounds good.
Got like a 5-minute or something?
Yeah, quick 5-minute talk. Okay.
Okay, I'll be right back.
I'm still here if anybody has questions too, but I just didn't want anybody to miss out on planning.
Left my water in the other room. Gotta make a note for our order of operations here of what we're doing.
Cool.
So that Onion Knight from Dark Souls,
Mhm.
if you look, it's actually not armor that he's wearing. It's just
it's
super
pillows.
super thick like pillow
Yeah.
type stuff.
Yeah, with belts over it.
And apparently that's literally what it's supposed to be. Is he just wears like this this super thick pillowy substance.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Oops. Come on.
Okay, I'm back.
Yo, dude.
All right, so let me just shoot some things off of you, Nazim, real quick.
What you got?
We're gonna wake up. We're gonna drink tea so that we are all at 0 levels of exhaustion. That gives us an hour until we get shitty. We're going to wrap our heads and put in our wax. And I say we do this with the dome, like we can make it so that other people can't see in. I think we can make it opaque.
So that way they don't know
They
what we're
don't
doing.
see what we're doing. In fact, I'm gonna do that first. Wake up, make dome opaque. This is what I'm gonna be whispering to the group.
Stack prep Leroy Jenkins down, pretty much.
And wax.
I have a question. Does the flower thing, is it just spells that, like, we have the innate ability to cast, or
No.
Any
Any
spell
spell.
up
You don't have to be able to
to
cast
level
it. Yeah.
That's
You-
why we
so-
can use teleport, because teleport's a pretty high level spell too.
Yeah, so basically in world, in narrative, you would think of it as just making a wish, but mechanically you as the players need to be able to tell me what spell you're trying to emulate.
Okay, then I have
Yeah.
another question.
Mm-hmm.
Is Divine Intervention a spell or an ability?
No, it's an ability.
Damn
Yeah.
it.
Plus that would be a potential, like basically you'd still have a 13% chance of success.
I was hoping.
It'd be an awfully big gamble.
Yeah, I'm like looking through different 8th level spells, but there's just so many.
Oh, another thing I'm going to do is grab the scroll and just jot out really quick. So we're going to face Legion tomorrow. I don't know if we're going to make it out of this, so if you don't hear from me in 2 days, you know what happened.
Okay.
I'll just leave it at that.
No other, let's say, outgoing communication, just specifically that scroll, your telescription?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you mean other outgoing communication?
You tell
Oh.
me.
Sure. We'll let Ozzy know.
You guys do whatever you want. I don't.
Yeah, no, we should probably let Ozzy know what we're facing in case we
Okay.
don't come back.
All right.
So yeah, I'll make sure that everybody knows what's going on, and then
Okay.
study my thing.
Then the scroll of telescription, you jot out the information of the Core and Xantalis, and you don't see an immediate reply, of course, just because it does take time there. With the Stone of Far speech, though, to Ozzy, you send the message, and there's a brief pause, and then there's kind of a coughing sound, and the Legion comes back.
Yep, that very same one. We don't really have much of a choice.
How and what, and I need some more information.
I will tell him what I can in 20 words. That,
Taking breaks between.
Yeah, there's ghosts up here protecting it. We may have to sneak down. We have to do Obo's thing, but apparently Legion is there waiting, and yeah,
Real quick,
everything I can get in there.
Sarah, you have the invisible ring thing, right? The last 10 minutes.
Yes.
All right.
You're
So
tuning
I
that then?
don't- Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll attune to that and unattune the displacer boots.
Okay. And Avar has the displacer boots now?
Do you know Norak, like at the bottom of that hole? Is that pretty much it, or do we have to go for a ways?
It was
I think it was like 500 or 500 or something.
okay.
500 feet through?
It's a couple hundred feet. It's not super far, but basically, yeah, probably around 500 is probably pretty close. You basically go down, and then there's a broken cavern have to walk.
Because that's what you said when I asked last time.
Yeah.
If I could send Sai or something, or my disc, and it was too far away for the disc.
Hey, Sarah, before you make yourself invisible tomorrow, if you do, well, actually, I'm whispering in the dome, so I think it's safe here. If you, when you make yourself invisible, make sure you're holding my hand or something so I can cast that other spell on you, because I'm not going to know where you are.
Right. Okay.
All right. One thing I'm going to do while we're still waiting, G, is Norak is going to try to remember everything that he can about Core, like his face and how he looks, his mannerisms, all that thing, or all that stuff, and tell everybody else in the party which one he is, so they can possibly try to recognize the soul. So we can get him extracted and conscious again, then he would be on our side, and he would be a very powerful ally. So
okay. So the visage of him is what is carved on the stone heads on the rocks outside. Remember when you guys were up in the caldera?
Yeah.
So you have, all of you, in fact, have seen this. Obviously, Norak would have a much better memory of it because he's stared at those heads a lot longer. But basically, you do know at least what, let's say, more recent Yogg believed him to look like. Whether or not that's a proper visual representation is a little bit hard to say. In the same way that statuary may not properly resemble the people that they're supposed to, because the statue might have been made 300 years later, kind of thing.
So it's not the blonde hair, blue eyed.
Oh, the Jesus. That's basically it. But I'll go ahead and tell you though that I think I mentioned this before too. The stone heads out there look similar in difference to the way that Cro-Magnon looked to modern human, right? So basically, it doesn't look like a modern representation, and therefore it's probably more accurate and distinct enough that it looks different than a normal Yogg, and certainly not human. So if you were to spot it and it did happen to look like the statue up there, you feel like with the description of knowing what that statue looks, or the stone heads rather, look like outside, you could probably pick it out of a crowd, let's say.
And I'm just going to try to keep my mind on Gore as much as possible to kind of, I guess you could say, focus my psychic energy as much as possible.
Okay.
So try to keep it on my mind. Oh, and one other thing I was going to say, Pogo, when we go to make the wax for the ears and stuff, what would you guys think about if we took some of the cloth and stuck it down in your ear hole so that way you don't get hurt, but then take the wax, melt it over your ear so it's like a big old blotch over your ear? Because it would feel a lot better that way.
I love it. I love it. I'll add that to my tinkering here of making.
Are you talking about the cloth that's made for tinder, or a different cloth?
Well,
I have some bedroll if we need to rip it up. We can get some other kind of cloth.
I mean, we can find cloth. I don't know. I've got clothes.
Yeah.
I've got clothes.
Exactly.
We can,
yeah.
How do I attune to this ring? How do I get it to attune to it?
So just so that all of you guys know how to do this for future reference, I'll go through your stuff later on and make sure to put the notes in there so that it's in the text as well. But just so that you guys can see this, if you click the edit item to the right of it, the one that looks like a square page with a pencil over it, click that, and then you go to details, and then in the section that says attunement,
that's cool.
There it is.
You would change that to attunement. Yeah, exactly. Attuned, or not required, or not currently attuned, or whatever the other one is.
I did this in Wemmick, and so I'm guessing only me and Sarah can read that, huh?
Yeah.
That's
or
cool.
me, obviously, but the rest of you look like I see a bunch of Arabic gibberish.
So I was
it's not even Arabic. I think that might be. It's probably close to like Quenya or something like the made-up elven languages from Lord of the Rings, because there's a lot of kind of similar swirls to Farsi and Arabic in that, but I don't think that's the same language. They don't look familiar at all.
Sure.
All right.
So if anyone's curious, this is the basic idea that Pogo will be.
Pasted it again.
That's supposed to be in common this time. Oh,
well, click the drop down and change it to Vindian is the one you want.
I've just got common and Wemmick.
Let me fix that for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're supposed to have Indian as well. All right, it is fixed. Now you should have click off of yourself, and then click back on. And then in the drop-down box, you should have Indian listed there.
No, that's okay.
I actually need to refresh maybe, but the little language, you were using the language box directly with the chat box, right?
Yeah. The little one that says common and Wemmick on it.
I see it there for you now, but that's all right though. I'll make sure it's fixed before, because I probably edited them when you were already on this map, because I only added that last week, I think. So
So just to let everyone know, so far, Pogo's kind of like, so we're going to wake up after a long rest, and then before we kind of get ready, we should maybe make the dome opaque so they can't see what we're doing in here, so they don't know we're getting ready. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then we can drink the tea, wrap our heads, and put in the wax. And then maybe right before we leave, just to be safe, since it lasts 10 minutes, you can use that ring, Sarah, and we'll just kind of hold hands as we...
Yeah. I'm also
Run
going to put
through.
on the spider foot sab because it also lasts for 10 minutes, just in case.
okay.
Perfect.
So
I
can
might
get
as well... You know what? Fuck
far
it.
away from people so I don't get blood on myself.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that sounds good. I like it. And that my ideas are like, you know, we'll get down there, and then once we're down there in that hole, getting close to the end of it, if we see the creature, I'll go ahead and ready deafness for you as soon as we see the creature, and that'll be kind of the first thing that I do. And then I'm just going to try to keep me and Ava alive, maybe cast silence around us.
Sounds good.
Okay. All right. Any other notes for the rest of the day? Anybody doing anything else to prepare?
Do I need to roll to study that
Yes, you do.
Arcana, right?
Yup.
Here we go.
You did fix the...
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's fixed. All right, cool. All right, good roll. You feel like you're understanding it pretty well. It's essentially the channeling of magic, but not actually casting a spell. It's like backing it up and then just holding it, which is strange. That's just not how spells are normally done. And then allowing it to be kind of vacuumed away is kind of the bit of it that you have. You're able to replicate that portion of it. You still expend the energy. It's just a matter of kind of practicing being able to hold it for longer without expelling it, and then it kind of slowly dissipates over time. I'm going to tell you that when you go any further than this, for you to be able to continue studying it any further, you will have to spend spell slots to do it, because you will be expelling the energy. You just won't be actually casting a spell with it, meaning that from here out, the next time you do these, this kind of a check to try to study this spell, you will have to use a spell slot to do it.
Okay, I don't have to do that now, or can I do that now?
Each test of this is going to take you 1 hour, so you actually have some free time today if you want to keep trying to do that. You won't be able to really, kind of help the rest of the group with whatever other prep stuff they're doing, but if you're otherwise done, we'll say that you probably have enough for 3 more attempts.
Alright, yeah, I will do that then, since we're getting ready for a long rest anyways.
Alright, go ahead and mark off 3 spell slots. It doesn't matter what level they are for now, and then make 3 more Arcana checks.
Alright, so let's do this one.
Ooh, not good there. Hey, there we go. That's better.
Can I try to?
If you're trying to do it yourself also, it wouldn't be kind of, it won't help her understanding of it, but you can also try learning if that's what you're trying to do.
Okay. Well, I would try and help her understand it, but then I'd also try and understand myself so I can explain it better, if that helps.
I would say that you wouldn't need to do the entire kind of ritual of it essentially to do that. But if you're trying to also learn how to do it so that you can do this later, essentially what this would do, as you understand it, as the two of you have understood from reading this, is the ability to empower other people's spells with your own spell slots.
Ooh, I would definitely try to do that.
The end result, that's essentially what this is doing. This specific schematic of this spell is for a very specific spell that it would be channeling into, but with some kind of minor modifications, essentially the spell. If Pogo's trying to cast something, you can help him upcast essentially.
Ooh,
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I would definitely try and help learn to do that.
Sure. All right. Real quick, then, just go ahead and give me 3 Arcana checks, and then we'll jump ahead. Becky, that was 2 successes total. Out of the 4, not out of the 3.
Popped up my character thing, and then I would just hit game pause.
It's not paused over here.
It didn't say. Yeah, I had to pop it back in.
Oh, yeah. The pop out will automatically assume it's paused, yeah. And 1 more.
It's really lagging, that's
Okay.
Like, is it actually working?
Yeah, it came through. It took a while, but the last one came through.
Yeah.
You were able to once to successfully hold the energy in front of you, just like a small floating orb of arcane energy. In your case, more of a divine source rather than Raconidus, like Sarah's pulling from. But it's still you were able to kind of at least hold it for a few seconds before it dispersed. It does cost you the 3 spell slots as well, so go ahead and mark off 3 of any slot, 3 of any level rather. As you guys are doing this, and the rest of you are kind of, finishing up in whatever prep, Pogo gathering the wax and kind of rolling in cloth into it to kind of give it a little more rigidity. Arteme going on with the... I'll do that after. Arteme going on with the teas, the little packets of tea, getting that ready. Nazim, you sitting kind of near the edge of the dome there, you also have a, 60 feet, I think it is, right? Of dark vision?
Dark vision, yeah.
Yeah. Something some motion catches your eye to the south, and you kind of look in that direction, and you see that both Axia and Tiberius, the praetor and the analyst, are kind of slowly approaching, and they stay outside the kind of brighter area of light that Arteme has being kind of emitted from the dome, and they're both kind of just floating at the edge there, kind of staring in your direction at all of you.
Do they look like they're trying to touch the dome or anything, or
Nope.
they're just kind of hanging out?
Nope, they've just stopped there.
All right, I'm going to kind of just wave everyone down and let them know what's going on. Possibly they're onto us or they're listening, so we should be a little bit more cautious in our movements.
Maybe they want to talk to us.
I was going to say, yeah, maybe
that
they
is
wanna
kind of the
talk.
impression. Yeah, it looks like, Nazim, it looks to you like they probably are approaching so that they can talk to you guys. Really, is probably it didn't look hostile.
Okay, so they're more of a friendly
Because they
gesture.
were discussing stuff, like they were arguing about like whether to help or not earlier.
Yeah, well, you
so
guys-
maybe they
yeah,
deliberated
but-
more.
But all of you guys are still kind of talking and doing things right now, and they aren't interrupting. It seems like they're just standing there waiting for you guys to notice or do something.
All right, I'll flag everyone down and let them know that we have guests, and let's approach it with caution.
I'll use size senses and have her go out, so whoever's talking, I'll still be able to hear properly.
Okay. They're far enough, they're close enough rather, that you'll be able to hear them, you won't be able to necessarily understand Tiberius, but other than that, you guys would be able to communicate with them just by talking if you chose to, unless you decide to make the orb solid, or not passing sound or whatever.
Somebody want to go down there with me? We can figure out what's going on.
Pogo frantically just trying to put pieces of cloth together and playing with wax while it gets super messy. No, I'm in too deep.
Got bits of it stuck to your forehead for no reason.
Fucking sitting next to Avar while he's just complaining about the helmet, and I'm just trying to shove shit up into his ear area.
Should I put the helmet on now?
I'm just playing with it and shoving stuff up there. And
Alright, well, I guess I'll go down there.
Okay.
Then.
Sai will follow her, and I'll use size senses.
Okay. Then you, using the broom, then just kind of float your way down outside. They're not far away. They're just outside the dome to the south. Yeah.
I'm going to keep my distance, but I'll kind of follow them as well, just kind of like
Okay.
a support in case something gets froggy.
Okay. All right. Then you also float yourself down there, along with Sai. As soon as it's obvious that you see them and are approaching to parlay with them, Axia says, "We don't mean to interrupt, but I've done my best to discuss with him and make him see reason." And she's still speaking in Vindian, by the way, which let me just to be clear here. You know that he understands Vindian, he just can't speak it. And remember, she changed language on purpose before when she didn't want him to hear something, and it was clear that caused a problem. But anyway, she's speaking in Vindian right now, and still says, she's trying to make him see reason. He wants to know exactly how you intend to deal with the problem down there before we can let you go.
Well, we have this nifty spell that allows us to banish him back to the Astral Sea. It was the Astral Sea, right?
Ethereal. But,
Ethereal Sea.
and you're confident this will work?
I mean, what exactly is 100%, but it's the best thing we have, and it is relatively effective.
And if it doesn't work, what do you intend to do?
Fucking die.
Just
Try not to scream as we die.
do what we can to kill as much of everything that we can down there.
She stops for a moment and turns and looks at him. They kind of stare at each other in that same communication that you've seen previously. And a few seconds later, she turns. He fears that even you passing through it will create a weak enough point in his barrier that he'll be able to get out. If you go in and you don't destroy him...
I mean, we understand that going down there is almost 100% guarantee we're going to have to face him. So we've, done what planning we could and prepared for what we could if, we go down. But, I mean, we've killed a lot of things. We've survived a lot of things. And, I mean, we have a way, if it works, to send him back. If not, then we die trying to kill him. And I just kind of glance over my shoulder at Pogo, like, yeah, that's right.
Oh, I'm still up in the dome.
Oh, I know. She's looking over her shoulder at you.
All right, so
As I'm tearing into cotton with my teeth.
I'm going to let you guys have a final. So I don't know if you guys saw that, but the last kind of persuasion attempt from her trying to persuade him was only a 10. Was not enough. I rolled it. Just rolled a 20 earlier when Pogo had went down to try to talk to them. So she was not able to convince him. I'm going to give you guys one more attempt at a persuasion check. Depending on how well you roll, is really going to have a significant impact on here of whether they're going to help or prevent you from going down there at all. It's going to have some levels of concern here. So, who wants to make the roll and give me the who's what are you saying, all that stuff.
I can do the roll if you guys want me to do the roll.
Well, you gotta be the one talking, then.
Who's
I'm not there.
Good at persuasion?
Well, I mean, you guys are all within earshot. Any of you can do this. That's fine. It's just a matter of who's going to be the primary person speaking, and if anybody else is going to try to help, what they're going to be saying.
So pretty much, I can do the roll if you guys want, and I'll just pretty much parrot back everything that we were talking about, and tell him our plan. Do you want to tell him the whole plan? Do we want to spill the beans, or do you want to hold back something?
I mean, we don't want to tell him that if they don't allow us to go, we're just going to run down and go anyways.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's plan B. But the actual plan to do something.
I mean, it would probably make him feel better knowing that, we've got cotton and shit ready to block the ears, so that way, shit won't be as effective.
Okay, so you are going to go ahead and explain the plan then, or at least the preventative measures, let's say?
Yeah, I'm assuming that would make him feel at least a measure better.
Okay.
That we're actually planning.
How about this?
Stuff,
I'll
not just going
I'll
in
speak to him and persuade him by letting him know that we understand the risks, we understand what we're going up against. These are the precautions that we're taking. These are our fail-safes and backup plans, and essentially letting him know what the contingency plans are and what we intend to do with the banishment, and all of that. But we won't say anything about just rushing the gate if he doesn't let us do it, obviously.
Okay. Anybody gonna, add any auxiliary or ancillary argument to that as well?
Want to help me out with that advantage?
Can I be talking, reiterating what he's saying since I'm down there with him?
Yeah, that's fine.
Advantage?
Yep. Okay. All right, then Nazim, give me a persuasion check with advantage. I mean, you guys gave me, you didn't give verbatim, but you gave a, descriptive enough, a thorough enough description, rather, that I think that's fine.
All right.
So, in essence, plan A is to try and banish it. Plan B is get as many spirits destroyed off of it as possible to weaken it, and then try and banish it again.
Okay. She, you kind of explain this, and his kind of these little embers that are floating in his helmet don't really turn away. There's no blinking, no nothing of that sort. He just kind of keeps staring at your direction as you guys are making this description of what your intent is. After you finish, He's still for a moment, and he seems thoughtful, is kind of the impression that you get. And then he turns to face her, and the two of them are kind of staring at each other and clearly communicating again. And a pregnant pause goes by for quite a while, and then you see him turn around and face away from the group there, and he makes a gesture, like a beckoning gesture. You see the bard wraith, the one that had been sitting next to Pogo earlier, float in from behind, and he kind of floats in front of
Still
the
playing
Death Knight
that
there.
shitty song.
He's no longer playing it now, but he is holding the ocarina, and he kind of looks back up, and there's, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, Sarah, there's clear trepidation. He's not happy about this, but he looks up at the Death Knight, and then looks down to Sarah, and then hands over the ocarina.
Thank you, and I will take it.
He says that if you're successful at this,
Camptown races.
if you make it down there and you finish this, then I won't need this anymore, and that's probably better than staying here and still having it. So here, then he hands it over to you.
We appreciate it, and I am sure that this will come in very handy. Thank you.
It is ghosts of any sort, the dead, generally only those intangible, don't like its sounds. It can create emotions. It can cause spirits to feel things that they wouldn't otherwise, and it's generally easy to becalm them with this, among other things. But it's very special to me, and if you don't need it and you don't succeed, if you make it back up here, I would very much appreciate having it back. If you do succeed, I think we'll all be gone and it won't matter anymore.
Sounds like a plan.
Kind of turns and floats off. And then you see the Death Knight standing there, kind of looks back over at Axia again, and you see him kind of bring one hand up, and he grabs this kind of, was that a sneeze?
Yeah, sorry about that.
You sure that COVID test was good, dude?
Well, last thing is it's all in my nose, so I don't. COVID's usually more chest, but yeah, COVID came back negative.
Well, but the Omicron one though is cold symptoms, like so. Anyways,
I don't know. Maybe the tests don't find Omicron, but
yeah, I don't know. Maybe it takes longer for.
if I'm being honest, if this is COVID, I'd be pretty fucking stoked because then I'd at least know, like, okay, didn't fucking die. Cool.
Oh, don't say that. I have a cold right now.
See? Well, it is. It's also just winter. Like sometimes.
Yeah, it's probably just a regular cold.
Easier gets cold.
Yeah, it's going around too, obviously. Anyway, so the Tiberius the Death Knight, the praetor here at this garrison, he reaches up his right hand and he grabs this kind of metal band that is just above his bicep on his left arm, and he kind of pulls it off. Arteme, this is the one that you noticed previously had the Mephuan royal symbol on it.
Oh.
And he kind of holds it out. He doesn't move to you. He's kind of holding it in your direction, and he's still floating up, so he's like way far away from you. He's floating a little bit off of the ground, but he kind of holds it in your direction.
What is this?
Mine?
No, and Sarah. She's closest.
Oh, Sarah.
So he holds it out to Sarah. Axia standing there. She's kind of like wide-eyed a little bit.
What is it that he's handing me?
It's an armband. It's like. Do you know what a torque is?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so kind of like a torque, but for the arm.
I'll start floating over slowly.
Okay. He just hands it, like he lets you take it. He just lets you, pull it from his hands. She looks surprised though, and she says, "That is the last artifact of King Jolston before he fell, or when he fell. We were the last Mephuan garrison at the time, so this is strange. I don't know why he would choose to give this to you, but apparently you were convincing enough. It was really the only thing that saved Tiberius's life in many an instance before he finally fell. So it can't hurt for you to carry it, at least."
I will bow my head respectfully and tell him thank you.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Then. All right.
No, wait. He bowed to us before he fought us. I don't want to fight him.
No. You're fine. But it was a sign of respect and honor that you guys haven't specifically shown them at all. This is the first time, really. I mean, you guys have spoken to them in relatively moderate to honorable tones, let's say. But I'll just put it to you this way: that he seems impressed by that. But that's it. He hands you those. Well, you now have the ocarina and the armband that he had as well. And then the two of them kind of slowly float off.
Alright, well, I guess I will float back up to the dome and identify these.
All right.
Figure out exactly what the hell these are.
What, 10 minutes each?
Yes.
Find out what the
Nazim.
flute. Find out what the flute thing does. I want to see what that one does.
Nazim, you going back in the dome as well?
Yeah, I'm just moving back with everybody.
Yes, I would come back in.
Okay.
And I'd
'Cause I-
tune back into my own senses.
I don't want to
Right.
toot my own horn or anything, but I can play a flute pretty well. Not bad at it.
Probably
And
should-
horns. And horns. I can toot my own horn and play my own flute.
Neither of them were ones, so. Did you roll for your glass speed when
I
you...
did.
You did
Yeah.
roll it for the ones? Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I didn't remember, but all right.
I rolled them before you even told me that I had gotten anything. I just rolled them to identify if they
Okay.
were magic.
Okay. The ocarina then is called the Ocarina of Sentiment, and with it, a talented musician, let's say, is how I'll put this. It's not specific to bards, but anybody that is proficient in musical instruments can use it to emulate certain like emotion-based spell effects, like calm emotion, fear, heroism, enthrall, enemies abound, insight, greed, fast friends, glibness, mass suggestion, and confusion.
What?
There's no charm?
Charm is not in there, no, unfortunately. That's
Oh.
mental control, not just emotion.
Still, mass
but-
suggestion is a great spell.
Yeah, fast
What was
friends.
Insight
Well,
Greed?
so to be clear, yes, insight greed is too. Yeah, glibness is really good as well. It's not, you don't automatically get all those spells. It's
No.
basically you will make a performance check, and the higher the level the spell is, the harder the check will be. And that's essentially how it'll work. So I'll put it in your inventories once I have it all set up for you.
Right. I'm
But
just
as
going
he described it
cast
to you-
it.
All right. Pogo's eyes light up. But it also so it's performance check based is what I'm saying. So it's not anybody that can play or has proficiency. So Nora could use it. Nazim is an entertainer. I'm pretty sure he has musical instrument backgrounds as well. So anybody with performance could use it. But anyway,
I mean, anyone who wants it can have it, but she's passing it to Pogo just
Sure.
because she's the only one she could think of that would probably want to use it.
and as Septus Agrippus had explained, this could potentially be used to the spirits down there, and as you guys have understood now, the spirits you essentially hack off of him will be volatile and insane, and will immediately try to attack you. Using this thing could potentially, keep them from attacking you, or help your DCs against their attacks, things like that. So, having it could be useful, is what I'm saying.
That's good.
And just playing it doesn't require attunement. Doing any of the spell effects would require attunement. So just having it means you can still use it in the fight. The upcoming fight, you don't need to attune it for that. But if you want specifically to be able to emulate those spells, then you would need to attune it for those. The other thing, the armband, is very strange. It doesn't immediately kind of reveal its secrets to you, essentially. But what it does tell you is that it is like wearing a full suit of armor even without having to wear a full suit of armor, and essentially a hit that would otherwise be a critical hit, you kind of can turn out of the way just in time so that it wouldn't be a critical. Essentially, it means you can't be crit at all, and adds to your AC.
Can we give it to Avar for now?
And also, on top of that, you can also attune it to a different resistance. Give yourself resistance at any given time. It takes an action to do it, but it lasts until you change it
We should
for
probably
any
give
specific
that
damage type.
to Norok because he is a close quarters fighter.
That is true too.
Like he's gonna be right up in that thing.
Yeah, how was it?
Was that? Did Norok just make like kind of a sex joke?
I think.
Or am
you
I just?
made
Am I just thinking
Actually,
it?
oh, I'm the one that said he would be right up in there.
Yeah, but then he was like, "I always am." Maybe I just haven't been with a woman for what it's been like 2 weeks. A long time for the pogo.
Well, yeah, since in the Grove Fort,
Yeah.
the cheese bath lady.
Oh,
I wanted to enjoy the company of the elves on that island, but they are just not feeling me.
right, so you have those items. The armband would require attunement. So that one, if you want the can't be crit, AC bonus of 1, and the tunable resistance, you'll need that, but that would be require attunement. So if you're going to attune either of those, say so now. Otherwise, we'll get moving on. I know we've had quite a bit of planning already, so if you guys feel like you're ready, we can move on.
I think I will attune, if it's all right with you. I will attune the ocarina instead of the Pearl of Power. Would you mind?
I think you're muted, Becky.
I think we're gonna need that ocarina pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
I need to read it, and so I need to study it for a minute here and figure out how I'm going to use it.
I didn't build the item in Foundry yet, but here's the spells. But again, I'll just drop those spells in the Embers chat for you guys. There you go. Those are spells that it can emulate. But again, the level of the spell will dictate the DC of whether or not you're able to cast it essentially with these. And anything concentration based would still be something you're concentrating on, not the item.
Okay, I'm gonna ask this in an odd way. I'm gonna be healing people and maybe doing a few actual attack spells. Is there anything specific people would like? Attack-wise. Like, do we want more area? Like,
or even
AoE?
defense?
But my defense I could probably use Wall of Wind or something.
I mean, it's probably weak to, maybe more fire-type things or something of that nature. So don't worry about necrotic damage or poison. If there's any way you could slow it down, that might be helpful. Any of that, or any kind of ways to speed up Sarah, since she seems to be our most important player on this role.
Ooh, I could do Warding Wind. It deafens you and other creatures in its area. It extinguishes unprotected flames in its area that are torch size or smaller. It hedges out vapors, gas, or fog that can be dispersed by strong winds. The area is difficult terrain for creatures other than you.
Can you cast that on a person?
It's centered on me, but I don't know if I could cast it on somebody else. Like, center it around somebody else.
I mean, that might be good for you guys not being able to hear stuff.
Yeah, that would actually be perfect.
I love it. Because for my things, I just need to be able to make sure that it hears me.
It would solve our deafen problem.
You guys have some more planning to do? Are you guys ready to sleep and head over?
I think I'm ready to sleep.
So
I think we're about as good as we're going to be.
Attune that thing? Or whatever it is.
Since it doesn't say on here, I'm assuming the Ring of Evasion and Sentinel Buckler are both attuned.
I don't think the Sentinel Buckler requires it. I don't think.
Okay, then I'm actually going to please equip that armband, that torque thing.
Okay, so it would be.
I don't even see it in my.
Yeah, I haven't added it there for you yet. It's called the Invulnerable Armband of Mephua. So I'll add it for you here. But the Ring of Evasion does. So the ring. Oh wait, no, it doesn't. I think we specifically. Hang on. There's no way that doesn't. I think we.
I'm sure it has to. I just wasn't sure about the buckler because if it's not the buckler doesn't, then I only have two. I have the Ring of Evasion and the sword. Oh no, I have Vulcan Record attuned too.
Yeah, so Vulcan. Yeah, the ring of Evasion definitely requires attunement. I just looked it up because that's not one that I homebrewed. That's straight from D&D Beyond.
Then actually, what I will do for this fight is unattune Vulcan Record and just leave it in my bag, and I'll use the sword in this fight. So I will put on the armband still, please.
All right.
Also the ring.
All right. Then your AC will be 18. I'll get all this added for you, but for now, your AC will be. Honestly, I did not expect you guys to be able to convince him at all. So I didn't bother putting them in there. I had told you about both of those things, specifically the ocarina and how it calmed the ghosts, and that Arteme had seen the armband on the Death Knight. So I told you about those things before, but I didn't expect you guys to be able to actually roll high enough to be able to get anything. It was really just a matter of whether you, especially with your exhaustion, of whether you guys would roll high enough to not be attacked when you guys tried to go in. Good that you did. But anyways, then what resistance are you going to tune it to?
Okay, so it's
You pick one. Yeah, you pick whatever damage type you want, and you'll be resistant to it until you tune it to something else.
Again, based off memories from the Vast Air Edition and everything, I'd assume since there's a lot of screaming from spirits, it's probably psychic damage it uses on us as well. Probably, right? Would I know that through?
Well, through the Vast Air Edition, you would know that it isn't limited to psychic damage. That it is a pretty wide spectrum that it can hit with.
Okay. I think I probably still will do it to psychic damage. What do you guys think? Would that be? Is that fair for me to ask the party?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. What do you guys think? In game, what do you guys think I should use for resistance on this?
Sounds like a Marlboro, so it's going to hit us with everything.
Yeah, it'll be so. That's a pretty. You guys remember? Well, those of you that have played a Final Fantasy game remember the Marlboros. That's what Sokka was talking about.
So essentially, we could get hit with psychic. We can get hit with sleep, confusion. We can get hit with everything, poison. We have no idea because all these faces and heads and screaming souls are essentially a casting spirit of a status ailment. So this is just a status ailment, insanity. Yep. So I would say probably be resistant to the most damaging, or the one that would hurt you personally the worst.
Something like psychic damage would probably be would probably be what, like an intelligence or a wisdom roll, because my intelligence isn't super high, so if that's what the roll is based off of, then that would probably be a good thing for me to be resistant to.
So wait a minute. Okay, you're keeping the ring of evasion, sword of stolen hours, and the armband. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. So the saves are also pretty well spread out. Dex, wisdom, con, charisma. Mm-hmm. They're pretty well spread out amongst the different kinds of saves that you need to make as well. As for the damage type, I'm going to go ahead and tell you from knowing the fight in balance that the Collegium Statera fought, the worst attacks from it were probably necrotic.
Yes, good point. Then that is what I will go with, please. Is
okay.
Resistance to necrotic, which again makes sense because he's undead. Duh. So.
Yeah. So I mean, he can do a lot of others too, but necrotic is probably the hardest hitting one. Doesn't mean that it'll roll that high necessarily. It could end up being non-issue, but especially because we'll get to that in a minute. So, all right.
Another thing I was going to say, I don't know if this again would be answerable by the Vast Air Edition, but was it like also in the Final Fantasy games? Did it seem like if you tried to give this thing life, it would hurt it instead?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, not the impression that you got now. If anything, healing probably would have no effect on it. Not necessarily a positive or negative, just probably nothing. It would be close to the impression that you all gathered from seeing the creature in action.
It's like in those old movies, where a skeleton would eat a hot dog and it would just fall into its stomach and then fall out.
It doesn't get any nutrition.
Yeah.
All right. Everybody going to sleep then? Anything else to prep?
No.
Nope. I can. Hang on. Look at my inventory. Yeah, I'm going to sleep.
Okay. All right. Then in that case, with everybody getting some rest, it is still quite early in the day, but you guys have had a really pretty terrible run of the last couple of weeks of exhaustion. So without much effort, you're able to kind of get a comfortable enough rest inside this dome here. Morning comes. Arteme, the time of the dome is 10 hours or something like that. So it would have you would have had to bring it back up a couple of times, but easily by the morning you see ghosts at the edge of the light. But apart from that, they don't seem to be concerned with you at all. But you're able to complete the dome itself. The tree remains, and it is morning. What are you guys doing?
Hang on. I need to double check something. This ring just says that if I'm touched by blood, that this invisibility wears off. I can cast
blood within 5 feet.
Blood within 5 feet of you. It's not
so
just
it can be
touching.
on the floor, or.
But I can still cast spells and be invisible.
Yeah, it doesn't. Yeah, it's similar to greater invisibility. Like you can still attack and everything. The only thing that will break it is either the time running out, you canceling it on purpose, or blood getting within 5 feet of you.
Great. Just wanted to make sure because I didn't see where it said that.
Yep.
Sorry, a really weird question. Is a spirit considered an undead or a construct, or is it different than an undead?
It'd be undead. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if it for any of the creature categories like beasts and humanoids and so on, undead would be the closest one for this thing.
Okay, I just want to know because I'm looking at my spells because I already have 2 in mind that I'm going to use that are going to be concentration. So I'm trying to find spells that don't require concentration.
Okay.
And one of them is blight, and I'm like, it has no effect on undead or constructs. So just double check it.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead if you want to finish up preparing your spells. Go right ahead. It's funny. I'll say this. Kind of pulling the curtain back a little bit. It's always fun for a DM, of course, when the party is that invested enough that you guys spent the last 2.5 hours fucking doing this. Like, this is what you guys
3
did.
hours to walk through a door.
Yeah. So for real, like, that's like, it's amusing to me as the DM that, like, you know, I didn't expect it to take this long. I really thought we would have, probably prepared for, I don't know, half hour, 40 minutes or something, and that we would have started the fight a long time ago.
You don't want to die.
That's fair. I 100% appreciate all of this. This isn't complaint. This is appreciation that you guys are invested enough to, to kind of put that kind of effort in, I suppose. What it does mean is that we'll almost... Sure. Just one sec there. But what it's extra amusing about it is that it probably means that we won't be able to finish the fight tonight. So we'll be halfway through the fight, which is, a little bit awkward when it comes to...
The fact that you think we're going to be halfway through the fight in 34 minutes.
That's fair. It'll probably be longer than that, but the warrior fight was kind of like that too. I think that one took like 2.5 sessions. Because you guys took, a long time to prepare too. So anyways. What was that? Sorry, Fox?
Okay. I have 2 different spells. One is Firestorm and one is Ice Storm. Okay. One is a 7th level and one is a 4th level. If I cast both in the similar area, what will happen?
Probably the end of the world. Like, it'll probably, create a hole in reality. Honestly, because they would both be trying to occupy the same space, you would need to move one to the next line over, essentially. You couldn't cast them on the same space, is what I'm saying.
I said similar space, like they'd overlap, but they wouldn't be exactly
okay,
the same
yeah, so
space.
if you did them, like, facing each other or whatever, I would say that the 7th level would end up winning out over the span of a couple of rounds. So Firestorm would end up, melting the Ice Storm, and the Ice Storm would end up failing. That would never normally be possible unless it was 2 different mages casting it, except because you can concentrate on 2 at once with.
Oh no, these aren't concentration at all.
Oh really? Shit, I thought they both were.
No, those aren't concentration.
Okay.
The spells that I'm looking at that are concentration that I was gonna use.
Yeah, as far as
warding wind, I'm going to use, and I'm probably going to use healing spirit, which is going to be concentration, and or moonbeam. I might use that one, which is concentration.
Okay.
Almost all my spells are. Oh wait, no, I was going to use flaming arrows and wind ward.
Flaming arrows for Avar.
Yes, for Avar, and then warding wind for all of us to deafen us inside, so we don't get damaged.
I'm gonna go ahead and tell you that if you guys hadn't done anything to deafen these screams, the attacks that this thing can do, the DC was very high. It would have been basically all of them would have hit, at least unless you rolled really well. But adjusting the DC down already, this is potentially doable. So I'll put it that way. Could still go real awful if you guys roll real bad, but it's not an impossible DC anymore. So, all right, everybody ready to go then? Fox, are you still going over prepared spells?
No, I think I'm good, actually.
Okay. All right.
Use the salve.
Now, that lasts 10 minutes, right?
Yeah, so it's going to be, right before we leave. Okay.
Then,
so
for simplicity's sake... Okay, all right. So, yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say then. All right, so for simplicity's sake, then, if you guys aren't doing anything else, I mean, the list that Pogo had put up earlier, get ready, drink your tea and so on, because the tea lasts for an hour. You guys doing all that now and then heading over to the hole?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not drinking tea right now because I don't have exhaustion.
Oh yeah, go ahead and adjust your exhaustion, everybody too. So remember, don't hit the trash can, hit the X.
Oh, this tea is delightful. Is that acai?
Yes.
Is that what I taste in here? Acai?
Yeah, go ahead and do the long rest too, Sako, and everybody. So apply your long rest so you have your spell slots and everything back. It'll fill your hit points already, so you'll be good there. Those of you that are drinking the tea, which Arteme has enough to be able to cover everybody. Arteme doesn't need it and shouldn't take it because there are
We've got
effects.
1 hour.
Yeah, exactly. There are negative
effects. For those of us that had
it,
less hit points, do we get those back, like our max hit points?
Yeah, as soon as you apply the long rest, it automatically heals you up. So
yeah, but it didn't give me, because a wraith went through me, my max went down, and I don't remember what it was.
Oh, I have it written down.
Okay.
Yeah. Did that happen to me as well?
Yes, because you only had 20, I think. Yeah, you only had 20 hit points left at the end.
Yep. Nazim, yours was 108, so go ahead and change your max to 108 and heal yourself fully. Artemis, yours was at 92.
108?
Yep.
Okay, just because I don't want to go into battle with less points.
No, that's
sure
a
either.
good catch. Yeah, I had it in my notes, but I wasn't thinking to reapply that for you guys now, so definitely a good catch there. All right. Then with that, everybody drinking except for Artemis then, because, she doesn't need it and no need to have the negative benefits from it or negative impact from it. You guys, I'm going to just drag you over there. As you walk by, you see there's just tons and tons of spirits. Both Tiberius and Axia are kind of, just watching you guys float by. Sorry, G, I put you in the wall there. Pogo too a little bit inside the wall. But anyways, as you float by, there's a certain kind of look of hope, maybe some trepidation, maybe some hope. Certainly on Septus's face, but the Death Knight's hard to read, but Axia as well. You get the impression that as long as you guys can stop this thing, that they don't need to be around anymore, and they can go back to resting. Does that make sense? That was the plan. So they're kind of cautiously hopeful you guys can make it. But yeah, you approach the top of the hole there. Looking down, you can see this kind of glowing, kind of bluish green glow from below. Otherwise, it is pitch black down there. What are you doing?
I'm gonna cast light on my sword real quick, so I have some light, because I can't see like these other people.
Okay.
Well, somebody wants to get on the broom with me, then I can cast Featherfall on the rest of y'all, and y'all can just jump down.
I'll hop on the broom.
How far down is it?
It's not far. 15 feet.
50 feet?
Yeah.
I mean
you can basically.
Nora can.
Nora and Shulk can climb down easily without any difficulty, and probably carry one of the halflings even, and Avar.
I'm pretty acrobatic. I'll probably be all right.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm not.
Nazim can float down as well. So yeah, I guess Artemis probably and Sarah, but with the broom, that's fine. Because like I told you guys this before too. Like you're high enough level adventurers
And
by now that
just so you know too, I'm going to when we get down to the bottom, I'm going to ready deafness as my first action to cast on Sarah.
Okay.
And I'm also going to try to hold her hand or stay with her, so when she goes invisible, I still know where she is.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll drop down on the broom right next to Pogo, and then
ring and Spiderfoot.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and move us over to that map.
And I'm going to pass the broom over to Pogo because I have the Spiderfoot on.
Okay. Pogo, you put up light. Artemis, are you illuminating?
Yeah, I'll put up light on my orb too, because it's a cantrip.
Okay. So apart from the light that you guys are otherwise emitting, Sarah, you're going to be invisible. So let me I'll just put a smoke effect on you so that's clear that you're invisible.
And I'm going to be staying next to her while she's invisible, so I can know where she is.
I'll grab the broom.
What were you saying, Becky?
I'm also going to do Shadow Scan.
Okay.
That will be
all right. In fact, I'll just put Shadow Skin's fine. We'll just remember that you're using the ring. You get to the bottom here, and it is extremely unnerving. You guys are standing on a shattered walkway. It's surrounded on both sides by this kind of seemingly endless pits down to the darkness below. There's a dense fog that fills this dark chamber. There's steps leading down to broken stalactites and stalagmites. Sarah, you're probably the only one that can actually see that, but the rest of you can see the kind of shattered cave that you're surrounded by to kind of give you the same impression. There's a distinct smell of ozone all around you, and anybody with any arcane sensitivity at all, this is well below the passive. There's an immensely powerful charge of ethereal energy that is just hanging in this very thick, kind of musty air. And stored magical energy essentially that is just surrounding everything here. Every footfall, when you guys land down here, every little pebble that you kick or metal clink in your backpack that are echoing through the chamber here is just echoes all around. Sarah and Nazim at least have some, a small amount of distance. You guys can see all along the rocky walls in here are these natural stone vertical tubes that are just, they're varying lengths. Some of them are, right next to you. Some of them are way up above. Some are way below. But these tubes that are all running vertically, going up and down, that are just, the walls all the way around are covered in them. Like, you guys know what a pipe organ is?
Mm-hmm.
Like a church pipe organ? Kind of like that. They're just like natural stone tubes that are all over the walls surrounding this place. Many that are just layered on top of each other and so on. Sarah, you would obviously intuit from seeing these, of course, that any sound that's produced in here would be echoing up through those stone tubes and then amplified out to the caldera up above, like a giant pipe organ would be. And that, since you guys had all heard the voice, you gather that's probably where the voice came from that was coming from the stone heads. These must go up to those stone heads. But it's all the walls around here are covered in those. So some are probably broken, but at least enough of them that the voice you heard must have come from down here. But worse than
I'm also going to grab Avar's hand and keep him next to me.
Okay, so both hands?
Yep.
Worse, though, than the kind of little echoing sounds of this whole room kind of rattling around with every little pebble in it and so on, is this disgusting, disorienting, nauseating, warbling sound that is echoing out from further within the cavern, from further ahead to the east over there, and it's already causing severe discomfort for all of you. It's causing these little small vibrations at the bridge of your nose, so your vision kind of blurs a little bit and your eyes are watering. This kind of constant low hum in your ears. Concentrating, as you guys already know, is on persistent magical effects will be difficult in here. I'm going to go ahead and just tell you guys that not in combat is a little easier. It'll only be a 15 DC concentration save. In combat will be an 18 to hold concentration. So
Except
casting any spell,
maybe.
Well, so yeah, you know what? Actually, that will come down a little bit on depending on. You know what? With all of the preparation you guys did, I'm going to adjust that down a little bit. It was supposed to be 15 out of combat and 18 in combat. We're going to bump that down to 16 in combat and 13 out of combat.
Okay, and once we're inside, my wall of wind or whatever it's called would be deafened to outside sounds.
To a limited extent, yeah. It won't automatically just deafen everything, but it will certainly reduce the sound, yes.
Is the way it says it deafens, like, to any sound outside of the wall. Because it's like a cyclone around us.
Yeah, but the effect of this isn't just audible, it's the physical things that it's the disorientation that it's causing you.
Oh, okay.
So, but I mean, it'll help at the very least.
Okay.
But you guys are at the bottom of the hole there. Norok, you know that you need to basically go, down the stairs and then around like a bunch of broken, like shattered caverns, climbing over rocks and shit until you get down to the well where the it's called Stole, but where you need to do the ritual.
Is there a wall next to us?
It's basically a pit on either side.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
as far as the map is concerned, you can when you move a little bit ahead, it'll open up a little bit more. What's that?
Alright, as soon as we hit a place where there's a wall, I'm going to start making my way up.
Well, I'm going to pull it back because I got to hold on to the dumb hand.
Well, we're not there yet.
Yeah, there isn't one yet. You basically are standing on a walkway, and there's a wall here, but it's not where you need to be from what Norok has told you.
I'm just going to kind of talk into your ear best I can and say we need to stay a little bit behind the rest of the group, and then with this one too, and as I hold Avar's hand. So, let's go. I don't want to be here any longer than I have to be.
Okay, I'm gonna still be on the broom and go ahead.
Okay.
I say I'm gonna take up the rear with Avar and hopefully Sarah.
And Sarah? Okay.
I will stay until we reach a wall area, then I'm taking off.
I'll just walk with you then. You just tell me when I need to pull out my bow, because I'll need my hand. I'll need my hand. I can't hold your hand if I need my bow.
You're actually gonna be using your bow, so it's fine, but not right now.
She told me that it's going to make fire when I shoot him.
You can stay next to me. You don't have to hold my hand. Just don't run off.
Yeah, Pogo will keep you alive.
All right, let these guys go forward.
All right.
Move.
Before we start, G, can you please add the torque to my stuff?
Yeah, the armband. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me adjust your AC real quick.
I've never had so many random fucking spells open in tabs as I do right now.
Every possible thing
for that new thing that I got. I'm like, all right, a lot.
For the ocarina, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so go ahead and start moving, G.
Okay.
Nazim, you got to be in front of us.
All right, moving up.
I'd also like to be trying to move stealthily as best I can with my elvish boots.
Okay, go ahead and give me a stealth check.
I will as well, since I'm invisible.
Okay. Well, I mean, if you're walking beside him, that's fine. Yeah, we'll say that the three of you are kind of operating as a group then. All right.
Damn.
Nice. 34. Shit.
Yeah.
So Shok is just kind of walking behind. He knows the path as well, and kind of walking behind Norok. Norok, you know that you can get here. This has been long destroyed, but you basically can get here by going up through the middle or down through the bottom. Basically, there's 3 routes essentially. They all go to the same place. None of them are really any faster or shorter, or quicker or longer than the others.
All right, guys, what do you think? We can go a couple different ways. Go straight or go down. They're about the same. What do you think?
Sandra, do you want to split off from the rest of the group?
Not from here.
Right.
You haven't heard or seen anything move so far.
Whatever route you guys take.
Yeah,
I will be
whichever
walking
route is the best.
I think they're both
probably the middle. You'd probably say the middle, Norok. That's usually the way you guys go.
Okay.
You came here when you were younger and kind of looked around a little bit, but there wasn't anything to see. It's just that the place is so broken and shattered that anytime there's an earthquake or anything, there might be bits of the place that'll collapse and fall away. The middle's probably the one that's the least risky of falling.
Okay, well, let's go there.
Yeah, we'll take the middle path, guys.
Okay.
Seems to be the easiest one from what I remember. We always took this one.
Norok is starting to get out into the place where it's completely dark.
Yeah.
He needs a little help.
As soon as we get up here, I'm going to start walking on the wall and making my way to the ceiling.
Okay, so over here is, you're coming up on a, you'll see some lights basically in the distance up here. And when you see that, there is a relatively thin, almost tunnel with smooth hewn stone across the floor. And it does look like it opens up into what must be the big chamber that Norok has been describing at the end.
All right, guys. Right up here.
Artemis, you coming?
Either if we see the bad guy or she starts to pull away to like climb a wall like a weirdo. I have no idea where I'm going, by the way.
East. Everybody east.
Okay. Keep going to the right. Keep going to the right, guys. This map visually is slightly confusing to my brain.
I'm not sure where I put myself, but I moved myself.
Oh, grab you. Oh, you went into a giant hole.
I've been trying to move and it was lagging out. I'm like, okay, I'll just drag myself to everybody else, and then.
You know what's funny is there's actually a wall there. You shouldn't have been able to fall into that, but but I guess we need a new character for Fox now. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would whisper to Pogo that I'm going to go up to the ceiling once we actually reach that area, so he knows I'm leaving him.
Sure.
Okay.
Well, the thing is, I'll feel you walking on the wall because I'm going to be like, oh, this is a weird angle to be holding hands.
Yep,
and
going.
As soon as I like, if you're gonna be too far and we don't still haven't seen anything, I'm gonna go ahead and cast. I'll just click it right now. I'm gonna go ahead and cast deafness. If I can find it on you.
Yeah, so I won't be able to hear you guys if y'all want to run. So if I see you guys taking off, I'll follow.
Do I see anything moving at this point?
So you are now deaf.
Everyone yawn at the exact same time. That way she thinks we're screaming.
All right.
Up ahead, as far as movement, there are little motes of pure energy that are floating in the air. But apart from that, you don't see anything from here. You do know that the thinny itself has a kind of swirling, like a portal kind of a picture to it. And you know that you'll see that when you get closer. But so far, you haven't seen anything that you don't expect to see.
Okay.
You doing anything, Nazim?
Yeah.
Nope.
By the way, that deafness only lasts for 1 minute, so just keep that in mind.
Oh,
We
shit.
got sparkles over
Okay.
here.
Would that have changed your mind? Because I would have definitely discussed that with you previously.
Yes, if I would have known deafness only lasts for 1 minute,
see,
I would
yeah.
be down on the ground.
All
with
right,
you
so
at
in that
this
case,
point.
we're still holding hands? Okay.
Yep.
That's how I keep you
Well,
holding
then-
hands with me. Well, tell you what, I'll walk with you next to the wall. You can be like on the wall, like sidestepping it like a parkour
Sure.
person.
So I've got like a head start on the wall.
Yeah, there you go. That's why I was like, I want to wait until we're very close. Hence, like when we see this fucking dude, to
Yeah, I
cast
didn't realize
this
it was
deafness
1
on
minute.
you.
So yeah.
Okay, then in that case, we'll keep holding hands. You are not on the ceiling.
Nope.
Then
Go,
you guys
Norok!
coming down these hewn stones. There's a bunch of broken rocks that have collapsed onto the staircase. That you have to kind of climb up and then over and then back down to the stairs again. You can't go quite that far, Fox. So I'm going to move you back just a little bit.
Well, I'm
just
on the
because
broom, so I'm floating.
Oh, that's true. Okay, so yeah, the basically where the steps end, it is a drop, and then what looks like ethereal water, like this kind of ectoplasmic water almost, and there's motion, there's movement inside this is the thinny. That sound is the loudest here. This is clearly where it's coming from.
Oh.
But peering down over it, even with your guys' ear things, and you can still hear it. You'll still have to make. I'll explain how in a minute here, but you'll still have to make concentration checks. But that DC is definitely going to be reduced a good bit. Just from being in the presence of the thinny here itself. But Norok and Shok, Shok doesn't appear to be. He knows what you guys are expecting to see, and he's still just looking around, kind of prepared, but doesn't. Nobody sees anything abnormal
I'm just
yet.
gonna smack Norok on the leg with my other hand and point it to the. That's the thing, right? Can we all kind of see it, or can I still not see the thing in the
there's
distance?
enough light. There's light coming from the thinny as well.
Oh, I'm just gonna be pointing at him to just go, do your thing.
Yeah, that's the location. When I look over at Shok, is he still not noticing the noise from the thing? He doesn't seem to be affecting him still.
What I'd say that you can tell that yeah, it's bothering him too, but it is the same. You both have been here before. You knew what to expect. What I meant by that is that he's looking around and doesn't see that you guys are looking for Legion. He doesn't see it either. Like he's prepared. He's got his greatsword ready, and he's just kind of constantly head on a swivel, looking around, preparing for something to attack, and nothing has so far.
Okay, I just wasn't sure if that was something that he would still notice because he was undead. Because there were some other things he didn't notice. Like when we first came in, he didn't seem to hear it like I did. So I wasn't sure if it was just his senses weren't as keen as mine, or if he just couldn't hear it at all because he's not alive anymore.
That's exactly it. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
What are you doing?
All right. So I actually need to get over to the circle, right? Not just to the water, because the circle is where we drop the bones, correct? Or is that the thing yourself?
You have, and I put
you need
sticks in your
put them
bag.
in the
There's
stones.
sticks in your bag too.
Yeah, we got the backup ones.
I got you some extra sticks.
Norok, as you approach the kind of sea portion of it there, Shok actually has moved ahead of you and went near it, and he kind of looks down. He's still holding his greatsword, and he kind of looks back at you, perturbed, like something's clearly bothering him. You know that when you step out onto this, spirits are supposed to kind of help you. And when you approach it, they did not help Shok. You get he's standing there and seems strange, but it seems bothered by this. But as you approach, you see those things, those kind of floating translucent forms in there, kind of float over near the place where you would need to drop your feet, and they kind of lift up, and you see this vaguely humanoid, certainly closer akin to, let's say, to the look of the Neanderthal-ish Yogg statues that float up and then kind of arch their backs over so that their back and their neck and their back is where your foot needs to go, and then another one floats up in front of that, and then another making a walkway for you. But it seems like they're not doing that for show.
Okay.
And he seems like concerned by that.
Okay. And I'm probably going to stay here because it's good to use my subjects for a human bridge because I'm the greatest Yogg of all time, so enjoy that for a minute. No.
Well, I mean, the ancestors did this.
This
This was normal that your ancestors helped you
Yes.
across. Artemis, you walk up to the edge and they don't come over for you.
Well, I'm already on the broom, so
Yeah, you can float over.
True.
They just don't. Yeah, they don't float over underneath you or anything.
that's fine. I wasn't expecting that because I'm an elf. Why would they help an elf?
I'm guessing by this point I can physically feel vibrations all the way through my body, right?
Yeah, it's pretty disconcerting. Even though you can't hear it, or even though you've kind of muffled it as best you can, there's like a constant thrum in your ears of the vibrations. Yeah, of your inner ear.
Yeah, so the sound is making physical vibrations, not just in my ear, right? It's
Correct.
Actually,
Yeah. Yep.
waves of
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, keep your eyes out, guys. Here goes. And I'm going to pull the sticks out, drop the bones in, do the ritual.
You're going into the circle?
Oh, wow. Sorry.
No, you're fine. So as soon as you get in there and you kind of very quickly, you had kind of prepared yourself for this, not grabbing the sword, leaving Vulcanbreaker. In fact, you probably put it in the bag even just for carrying purposes, bag holding. But anyways, you pull the sticks from your bag, you grab what is it you assume is a femur from over your backpack of oboes, and starts to sit down and try to start jabbing the sticks into a circle and laying the bones down at the same time, just hand over hand, kind of reaching into your backpack and pulling these out. All of you can see this because this is lit up as well as it is. A inconsistent shape, a shape of many appendages and faces, basically the same kind of visage that you saw in the in the vast erudition kind of coalesces
Now you're
and then
deaf.
begins to move forward.
Yeah, and I'm
Okay,
moving
now you're
up
doing
the wall.
okay.
Now you're deaf.
I'm going towards the ceiling.
Okay. Begins to solidify and move toward you. It doesn't seem to be kind of looking at you so much as it is just floating kind of past you, essentially, as it floats over. You do feel like you are almost certainly about to be attacked. So you have just a brief moment if you're going to continue trying to do twigs and bones, or you're going to try to defend yourself or do something else. But otherwise, everybody needs to roll initiative.
All right.
Ready myself. I'll drop what's in my hands and go for my sword. Ready
Okay.
myself.
Yeah, because I don't think, if I remember correctly, you can't even bring your buddy back until this thing's dead. Because he'll just get sucked right back into that fucker.
That's what everybody feels is correct. I'll go ahead and
But
release
hey,
those guys.
you know what? Look at us. We're already like, 10% done.
And the plan was to weaken this thing first and take some spirits off before we banish, correct? We're not just banishing right away? Okay.
Well,
its strength is
Double-check
very
your
much dictated by its size. The more spirits that are still attached to it, the harder it is to do anything to. Meaning that essentially the fight could potentially
Good
get easier
lord.
the longer it goes. So keep that in mind too. That if anything you're trying to do to it will be easier the weaker it is.
don't worry, guys. Avar's going first.
Oh, he is so
Yeah,
far.
that's what all of you wanted, right? That was the plan, is to let him do all the work.
That's okay.
I really wish there was an old module called Maestro, that you, as soon as you started combat, it would automatically start combat track. I bet there's another add-on that'll do that, but it was a really nice one. I like that.
I think it's wrong.
Fucking
What's that, Fox?
Everything's been. I think my initiative is rolling, but I'm not sure. It's been lagging all night.
I see 3 Artemis on the thing.
Three? Oh, what the heck? Yeah.
On the combat track.
Oh, yep. Oh, okay. You probably added yourself 3 times, Fox.
How did I do that?
Oh, that's a good question. Actually, you shouldn't have been able to. Oh shit, that's my fault. No, that's because. Okay, hang on. Let me delete you off. It's because I was using because you're the first one alphabetically. I was using you to test the walls and everything in here.
Okay.
So you were on the map a couple of times. I'm guessing that's why. Oh, hang on. That'll be the wrong token.
At least
Oh, hang on,
I'm
that music's
going
too loud.
last so far.
You're what?
So I said at least I'm going last so far, so everyone can beat him up first.
Can't hurt.
Hold on, I got someone at the door real quick.
Good thing Norok is in a safe spot right now. That's the important thing.
I mean,
He's
we
not gonna
would
have
even
his
be in
soul
the
ripped
middle.
away from his body. Or anything like that.
Yeah, so he is on that island across from you, and apart from being able to fly over, you guys don't have a means of getting over there.
Well,
Fox,
there's
I don't know
ceiling,
why it's
right?
doing that. Yeah, there is a ceiling. It is very high up, and in fact, actually, those tubes that you saw along the walls are very wide in here. So this is probably the chamber where the echoing, booming voice that you guys all heard outside must have been coming from in here.
How high up is the ceiling exactly?
You could just go on the wall.
80
I don't know
feet.
if it's going to be that big of a deal.
Yeah,
Difference,
then
no?
I'm going.
Yeah,
on
you
the
can just be
wall
attached to the
then.
wall. That's what I assumed you were. Well, I guess I knew the room and you guys didn't, so I assumed when you were saying that it would just be the wall. I guess I should have probably said something.
Yeah, no, I'd assumed I would be upside down, but if it's
Gotcha,
that
okay.
up, I'll just stay on the
Yep.
wall.
All right. So Fox, I don't know what I did. I must have broken something when I was using your avatar for your token rather for the
I mean,
vision
she's
in
on
here.
there normal once, so.
Yeah,
I'm
so
on there normally, so just ignore the other ones.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I'm
That's what we'll
after
do for.
Avar.
Yeah, we'll do it there, and then I'll get that figured out. It's probably just this map, I'm guessing, because I was using your token for it, but I've done that before and it didn't cause a problem. So, but yeah, we'll just ignore the others. I tried to remove them and it gives me an
All right,
error when I
sorry.
try. So,
Amazon.
oh, good dude, no problem. All right, so we start with Avar. Avar still holding Pogo's hand. What do I can grab my bow now, right?
Yeah, can you shoot that big thing? That's really all. I don't think he could do anything else. Does he have a... I know he got some magical shoes, but I think that just keeps him from getting hit.
Yeah, he's got
So-
So
Just aim for that massive soul. Just shoot for the thing behind Norok. That thing.
Also
Okay.
has the quiver.
The...
Well,
close.
that quiver would not do. Remember, it was poisoned, so.
Yeah, but it would
You give it
still give him
fires.
arrows. It'd give him fire.
That's fair. Okay,
Yeah.
so yeah, if you wanted to use the snake bolt specifically for giving him bolts, the poison, it'll still do regular damages. The poison won't do anything. But you see him shoot 2 arrows, kind of arcing in a perfect aim, and then as soon as they kind of get near it, they just kind of pass through and plink into the sea below. I tried. I'll try again.
Sure. Why don't you try to hide a little bit, like up by a rock or something.
All right. Artemis' turn.
All right. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to cast warding wind around us.
Okay. Go ahead and click on it, and then give me drop the template so I can see where the effect will be.
I put it to drop the template. Oh, it's lagging out again. I have to wait for it to catch up.
I wonder why. I'm not seeing anything on this side. I am seeing some errors now, but it's specifically because of that token thing. It's a scale thing, but it wouldn't be causing any lag. I'll get it figured out before next time. But we're near the end here anyways, but we'll maybe get a round in if we can.
Yeah, the template thing is not showing up, but
Okay, that's fine. Just
at
go
the
ahead.
Edge where we are.
Okay, so you're just trying to surround the area that you guys are in with the
Yeah.
rest of the group, not Norok?
Well, I try and incorporate him in it.
How big is the radius?
10-foot radius, and it
Okay.
moves with me, so it's around me. So I try and be in the middle of the group, like getting everybody around.
Sure. 10 feet isn't that big, so you wouldn't be able to get out that far. 10 feet is you to choke. That's the radius.
Okay, well, I don't see the characters on the map anymore at all. Like, I don't see anybody.
The icon that you have in the top left, or the bar on the left, which one do you have selected?
What do you mean the bar?
That's fine. Don't worry about it for now. All right, so you go ahead and click on Warding Wind so I can at least have the spell effect here.
Clicked it twice, and it's just not showing up.
Okay. All right, I'll put it on. There we go. It's there now. All right, and measure template. Oh, I see. Okay, so yeah, there must be something wrong with your character.
Oh, I have
the measure template for it.
Yeah, I have the player character and little select tokens selected, and that's it. But I don't see our player tokens anymore.
Okay. It's fine. I'll get it fixed before next week. That it for your turn then?
Yeah, because I have the flaming arrows on his quiver, so that's it.
Okay. All right. Then Shok, still standing at the edge there, clearly perturbed, looking down, like trying to get ready to run across here with his greatsword ready, and seeing that the spirits aren't helping him. You see him kind of not dropping it, but setting his sword off to his greatsword to one side and pulling a javelin off of his shoulder, and is going to fling javelin over at McDudson. Shit, not with a 12. Never mind. RG, it is your turn. And then we'll call it right after this, I think.
Okay.
So does he be first next week?
I don't know if I need to reload my page or not, but I still don't see the torque in my inventory. So
no, I didn't add it yet. I have to put it together for you. But your AC is 18 for now.
Yeah, it wouldn't matter until I got hit anyway, possibly. So yeah. All right. Then
that's not the. What the hell? Oh, no. Okay, never mind. I didn't set it to repeat, so I just played the next track.
Oh.
Never mind.
Okay.
Ignore that. Go ahead.
The usual, of course. I'm going to rage first.
Okay. It's a bonus action rage, and then taking your swings at him.
Yeah, and then I'm going to also frenzied because pretty serious fight. So
you're going to have
just got all my exhaustion gone, and then I'm going to have extra.
Yeah, exactly. You're going to have the difficulty from the T and from the frenzied rage. Then
we'll just sleep like a week after this. Okay.
Yeah.
Who cares about going to do Sarah's thing?
Hey, I'll just leave y'all behind like last time.
Go get Pogo killed again.
I'll be fine.
Technically, I'm going to take a test, so y'all can't help me anyways.
Yeah, but running off without everybody, and then everybody goes to rush and help you, and then Pogo dies. Go ahead, make your attack, G.
I'm assuming this thing is rather large, right? He's like a pretty big thing.
Yeah, he's very big, but he's like it's semi-corporeal. Like there's parts of him that are flesh, and parts of
would it really be a he or would it be like a they?
Yeah, exactly. It's a whole lot of he's.
I feel like it's as they as could possibly be.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, it's a lot of he's, a lot of she's, a lot of they.
Swarm of bees.
Yeah.
So, and they doesn't seem very.
Well, no, that's completely wrong, Justin. You picked the worst thing to pick a swarm of because all of them are male.
Oh, you know what? Yeah.
But anyways,
and radioactive.
Yeah, that's true. You need to add those into this game, by the way.
Yeah, it is definitely large, though.
Okay, so it doesn't seem like it'd be too hard to hit, right? Like, not probably.
You don't feel like it will be hard to get the sword to pass through it. It's a matter of whether it kind of connects or not. It isn't. It still has a high AC, is what I'm saying, because part of it is corporeal, and part of it isn't.
Yes. Then I will use Great Weapon Master too.
Okay.
Or Great Weapon Master and Reckless Attack as well.
Okay.
Do I need to hit the button for Reckless Attack or?
No, it doesn't do anything. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah. Great Weapon Master is toggled, but that's fine. We'll do the math manually if we need to. We can click the attack.
I'll just hit the advantage button to take care of the Reckless.
Okay.
Yes, good thing I did that.
Yep, that's exactly what his AC is, so that's good. Actually, you had 2 -5s in there anyway, so it still would have hit. Because
do I still have it clicked on from before or something?
You do, and that isn't anything you did. It's a problem with Foundry that I just need to remake that macro for you, and I haven't done it yet. So, but it would have been a 23, which still hits. So go ahead and you know what we'll do is, since we're at time anyways, I'm going to go ahead and explain to how this works here. You bring the sword down through it, and it impacts into the kind of semi-fleshy area, and as it passes through, a separate entity kind of begins to form from this chunk of what would be flesh that fell off of this thing. It is, a piece of an arm, a piece of a leg, a foot, whatever, that it kind of falls off of this, immediately begins to form, and that this kind of spiritual energy that separates from the main creature floats into it. And as soon as it does, the Legion snaps around behind you, immediately just teleports around behind you and attacks you. As well as the shard that is left behind. 11 will not hit, I assume?
No.
Okay. But the fragment that it left behind is now in front of you. I'll drop it on there. There's something going on with the map. I'll figure it out later. But anyways, a fragment of the creature splits off and is now in front of you and is fully corporeal.
Yeah.
Everybody understand what I'm saying there?
Ghost in front of me now.
Yep.
It made it shape into a humanoid thing, and it's
and looks basically it feels like you didn't really hurt the thing at all, but a piece of it fell off, and that piece is now in front of you while the Legion is immediately behind you. What did happen though is as soon as you damaged it, it immediately teleported behind you and attacked you, and that will be relevant next week because we're at time. So next week is actually Christmas, guys. So Christmassy.
I will not be here.
Okay, all right. So
hey, are you going to visit Are you going up to visit your brother?
No, I don't think so. I'll still be here.
Right.
Yeah.